This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is Friday, the 16th of August, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is News to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. Commissioner of Police Early Harewood Christopher yesterday lamented that the 4 of the 6 people killed by police on Wednesday were all below the age of 25, and this is part of a disturbing trend. The suspects were ID as Jovan Simon, 31, of Diamond Village, Claxton Bay, and Nelson Street, Perseverance, Couver, a 16-year-old female of George Street, Laramine, Nicholas Caesar, Salim John of Sumhill, Claxton Bay, Kevin John, 23, of Sumhill, Claxton Bay, and Isaiah Oliver, 21, of Margarita Marie Avenue in Arima. In a media release issued yesterday, Harewood Christopher says the incident will be thoroughly investigated. Just before daybreak on Wednesday, several men staged a home invasion at the Freeport home of 68-year-old Edward Taylor, a man enfeebled by 3 strokes and a heart condition. The group reportedly took cash and jewelry before escaping. Later that morning, police followed intelligence received and went to a house at Razak Trace in Freeport. Upon arrival, officers ID'd a Toyota Aqua car reportedly linked to the recent robbery. Police said the officers said they were met with gunfire and fired back, killing all 5 men and a teenage girl. Harewood Christopher says society needed to confront the issue with honesty, urgency, and with resolve. The COP added, the important, crucial role of parents and guardians cannot be understated, as they play the primary role of guiding the youth toward positive and constructive paths. The Ministry of Health is assuring Trinidad and Tobago its various systems are in place to address cases of the contagious Mpox disease should it occur locally. There is so far no case of the disease, but vaccines and antivirals are available and isolation protocols will be followed. The World Health Organization recently described the Mpox as a global health emergency. Health Minister Terence Singh, in a voice note on Thursday, revealed systems and resources are available to treat with the condition if it is detected in this country. In Africa, the WHO has declared Mpox outbreak a national emergency and of international concern. Added, it has killed 450 people during an initial outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. There should be a return to the former process for the appointment of a police commissioner and deputy commissioners, whereas the Police Service Commission recommends suitable persons to the Prime Minister for the positions, with the Prime Minister having a veto. Also, consideration should be given to changing the Police Service Commission to the Protective Services Commission and expanding its mandate to include prisons, fire, and municipal police service. The National Advisory Committee on Constitutional Reform also recommended that no public service employee be favored or prejudiced against their support in a particular political party or cause. The committee noted that politicians, by way of parliamentary debate and approval by the majority, are allowed to interfere with the appointment of members of the Police Service Commission, and this undermines its integrity and independence. The committee also recommended that the Police Service Commission evaluate the current system to establish mitigating factors, including compensation that prevents applications from qualified recruits from among the best talent within TNT, the CARICOM, and the diaspora region. A significant upgrade to the Water and Sewage Authority's Guanapo Water Treatment Plant is expected to benefit over 30,000 residents of Arima, Malabar, and environs. The project is another component of the loan arrangement made between the Inter-American Development Bank and the Government of Trinidad and Tobago and executed by the Ministry of Public Utilities and the Water and Sewage Authority. The upgrade will increase the plant's production capacity by approximately 80% from the current 3 million gallons per day to 5.5 million gallons per day, thereby bringing the service to Arima and environs closer to a 24/7 water supply. Plans for the project were revealed at a public consultation held at the Arima Community Center on Wednesday, the 14th of August, 2024. A Valsine housing developer was granted bail with a surety in the sum of $250,000 when he appeared before a master of the High Court charged with fraud. Mahendra Budram was charged with uttering forged documents and obtaining the sum of $1.6 million by virtue of forged documents when he appeared in court on August 14th. He was granted bail to cover both matters and instructed to report every first Saturday of each month to a police station. The matter was postponed to August 15th, 2025. In news of the region, Jamaica's Deputy Commissioner of Police, Fitz Bailey, who oversees the crime portfolio, says the police's investigation into Sunday's gun attack at Cherry Tree Lane in Clarendon has made significant progress, revealing connections to at least 6 previous violent incidents in the parish. 8 people were killed in the mass shooting, which left 10 people, including a 1-year-old, injured. Bailey said the incidents include a quadruple murder in Havana Heights in 2021. In April of 21, murder and subsequent shooting arson were committed on April 25th in West Park, also in the parish. Still in the region, Foreign Affairs Minister of the Bahamas, Fred Mitchell, says Prime Minister Philip Davis has been offered to take bed rest after apparently disobeying doctor's orders and overstraining himself weeks after undergoing surgery in the U.S. Mitchell, who is the parliamentary representative for Fox Hill, told reporters that Prime Minister Davis, who underwent surgery to correct sciatica, had presided over a cabinet meeting early in the week, but took an early break. Finally, Sweden says it's confirmed its first case of Mpox Clade 1, a viral infection that spreads through close contact and is more dangerous variant than the Mpox disease. The Swedish government made the announcement on Thursday, marking the first case of the variant outside of Africa. The BBC reports that it is on high alert for other cases. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming your way at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Neighbors, it is Friday. Yeah, that's right. It is Friday. Say it again. Friday, the 16th day of 16th day of August. So good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Full cast in this morning. You just heard from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from our Olympic medalist, Wendell Stephen. He wins a medal for something. Of course, Richard Ragoobarsingh will join us. We've got Shane and Ruben in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. 24 degrees. 25 degrees at Piarco. 27 degrees at Crown Point in Tobago. The Met Office is saying today 60% medium chance of the isolated heavy shower or thunderstorm mainly over western areas of Trinidad. All right? That's what the weather. Traffic, nothing to tell you about. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Paul. Morning, Steve. Good morning, Richard, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Am I being heard?
No.
Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Richard. And good morning, everyone.
Why does Paul sound a bit nasal?
I had to take Claritin last night. My eyes were scratching me. I went into a sneezing fit.
Yeah,
you stay right there. Yeah, we
Saharan,
do.
it's very cold. It's the Saharan dust plume.
We have some in the air
last night. So
yeah, it's permanent in your voice.
Yeah. So morning, anyway. Wendell.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Where in the world are you?
Only right next door in Jamaica, actually.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm in Jamaica. I'll give you all that story next week as I promised.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm here in Jamaica. I haven't been to Jamaica in a little while. Sorry?
Go visit Darvan Malcolm and Paul 106 FM. We've had him on the show a few times.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Malcolm.
Just tell him I sent you.
Yeah. I'm going to visit Devon House today to get the world famous ice cream. Of course, I'm going to pay a visit to the Bob Marley Museum again.
I'll take a T-shirt.
I know right where I'm staying here, they have a guy out the road there selling us sort of stuff. So I'll take a walk out later.
Yeah, my size is medium, just to let you know.
Medium? You can't possibly be wearing medium again.
On your ankle? On your ankle? Steve, stop. If my size is large, your size cannot be medium. Okay?
I like loose clothes. I like extra large.
You don't like extra large, Steve. You have to wear extra large.
Yeah, it's not a question.
If you see pictures of Steve at the start of his broadcast career, he was a skinny little thing.
No, let me tell you, I wasn't skinny.
Like about 120 pounds.
I was mega skinny.
He was so skinny.
When
at TBC going to broadcasting, this is skinny little boy, we going with this equipment.
Sometimes when I walked and my knees knocked.
And then it all changed. She got married, and life became sweet.
Well, I remember meeting Steve in the beginning too. As a matter of fact, Miss Ingrid in Tucson, sent me a whole series of pictures of us way back in the day,
Really?
Pulled it off.
Send it to us.
Yeah, she pulled it off.
We'll put it up.
With Chris on the afternoon drive, Arnold Roberts, back in the day with Rhoda Barrett too, and Ray, and a whole set of pictures she sent for me.
And I'll do the voice a few years later.
Yeah. So thanks, Miss Ingrid, for sending me those pictures.
All right. And gentlemen, remember that, Paul, you would remember this too. That winning ticket of $14.5 million that was bought in Gasparilla. No one has claimed that prize as yet.
I don't blame them.
So somebody go look for it in.
I very often it's taken me weeks to check lots of tickets.
Oh no, I check it. It's so easy for me to check it right there.
Yeah.
So
me too. Lotto tickets start to fade on me sometimes before I remember that.
I'm going to check them all one time. Okay, look at when I $30 here. Hey, look at when I $80 here.
$8.4 million is the jackpot for tomorrow. So come by the Pet Butler and buy your lotto ticket.
8.2,
8.4.
You know how much $1 is here in Jamaica?
Is it $800?
I feel like a filthy rich man here because I went to the Cambio.
Give you a culture shock first, when you're going to the grocery and you see a bread is $400, you say, and then you kind of calm down.
Yes.
A US or Jamaican is how much?
$1 is $142 in the bank.
I'm surprised Jamaica has never adjusted their conversion rate because they're doing much better now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But things are very reasonable here in Jamaica. I find things are very reasonable.
You are on the side of Kingston, the North Coast.
I'm in Kingston.
Right. Well, when you go to the North Coast, things will change. So it's not the same on the tourist-driven North Coast.
Yeah.
You should do. Jamaica is a beautiful country.
It is. It is indeed.
Never been.
But it's hot.
I've been to Jamaica 3 times.
Yeah, this is my 3rd visit here, actually.
Some of that jerk chicken. When I want jerk chicken, I go to Lady Young Lookout.
Actually, the thing I like in Jamaica is escovitch.
The fish?
The seasoned fried fish.
Seafood.
Yeah, I haven't had that yet. But there's a raging debate in Jamaica about their KFC being the best in the Caribbean. And of course, they have 2 sets of beef patties now, juicy
Spicy.
and tasty. So tasty is the original one, and there's a brand called Juicy now, and they almost opposite one another wherever you go. So because the Jamaicans apparently like juicy, we get the tasty ones back home. That's the ones we know, right? But there's a next party called Juicy now that they consider better than tasty.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Let me just give a quick tea and tech update, actually, that they are going to take power. Let me get it here. Today from 8 a.m. tea and tech, you owe me 2 months free. And it's going to go from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it's along Ryson Road extension, straight down to Hamilton Holder Street, Movie Town, Marriott, Invaders Bay,
They're shutting down the avenue on a Friday?
Hazley Crawford Stadium. They're going to do some planned maintenance work for today, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. All right, so take note of that, all those that work in movie town area especially. All right?
That's what I said, they're shutting down the avenue on a Friday?
Well, it'll be back by 4. So,
So the weather continues to be quite challenging at times in Trinidad and Tobago.
The what, sorry?
With Port of Spain enjoying this yesterday.
What?
Yeah. They really need to do something about that low-lying area.
With an hour and a half of rain, this is what happens on Independence Square very regularly now.
That's why Central Bank there?
Yep. Yeah.
As did yesterday. Cars almost submerged up to halfway up the door.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, it runs off almost as quickly as it rises,
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time I was heading home yesterday at 2:45, the water had dissipated already almost. But I mean, it is so challenging when you see this. Maybe it's a combination of. I don't think it's clogged drains, to be very honest. I think it's just the fact that Independence Square, which was once Marine Square, hint, is a lot of reclaimed land. This is on that street heading up by government towers there.
Yeah, Twin Towers.
And the side street of Unit Trust Corporation. And this is also part of, it's just so regular now, that I think it's because it's reclaimed land, it's under sea level, it's definitely under sea level. And when the tide comes in, this is just what we can expect now, because I think we need some major reconstructive work. I think the Minister of Works says that they have some medium-term strategy.
But maybe the Port of Spain Corporation also going to be including that in the fundraising drive that they're doing soon to initiate some of the reform exercises. Maybe that's part of the plan.
You're being sarcastic. Tell them, Wendell.
Of course I am.
Yeah, tell them. I know you're being sarcastic. So I don't know. This is so regular now,
It is.
So,
but so much rainfall in Trinidad yesterday.
It was about an hour alone.
It's one thing after lunch. It was about an hour.
Just about an hour.
Okay.
Put together a montage of videos. This is some young miscreants.
Oh, this was
stealing, trying to watch it, and they're not only criminals, but they're stupid to watch.
But that's a comedy. When I saw that, I thought it was a comedy.
I laughed.
They're not only criminals, but they're stupid too. Watch them trying to fit this TV into the car.
Yeah.
Watch them. If you weren't so stupid, the police would come and hold you. Watch.
They choose the biggest TV to fit in the smallest backseat of a car.
Yeah, Tita.
Watch the idiot.
Here he comes, he almost fall.
Watch the fool. Really.
At 3 a.m. in the morning. Where was it? In Penal or something?
It's just, you're already breaking the law. And you're stupid.
Yeah.
And you're foolish. And you steal a TV, and then policeman, this happened. Watch closely, gentlemen. Escape prisoner.
Running with handcuffs on.
Only in Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine you sit down in your car and you see an inmate running past you with the handcuffs on. We just have it so nice in this country, let me tell you.
There was another video I saw yesterday. A guy was clearing land with a weed whacker.
Yes, that one.
A fella pulled up on a bicycle, stole the weed whacker from him, jumped back on the bike riding, the fella running behind him. It's a sad
I thought that was another funny video. It's almost like if people doing videos to try to be funny, because that one with the whacker, you come to steal a whacker from a man cleaning a lot of land in open space, and you come with a bicycle.
There's all crime of opportunity.
On the issue of the excuse me, I'm very new to this body. The
Mhm.
woman who was stalked, but who left her partner, was
Yeah.
stalked,
Mm-hmm.
followed, and beaten on with a spanner
Yeah.
or a
Being
wrench,
spun
Where did all that happen?
and then
south.
driven over. You know, sometimes the families, hold on, excuse me, I apologize.
Bless you.
Mhm.
Need to just do see that thing after.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw a plethora of videos, some people who reportedly knew the man. And they, oh, he was a nice guy. Oh, he wasn't known to be violent. I don't know
Okay.
him like that. You was in the house when they closed the door?
Well,
You
his
were in the
family
house
saying that.
people put on family and friends and videos I saw on TikTok. And people judging him, and they shouldn't judge him because he wasn't like that. He stalked her when she left him, beat her with a spanner, and drove over her.
Yeah. And before that, Paul tried to
Stop
run them
saying
off
he
the
was a
road.
nice guy. He wasn't a nice guy.
But he certainly wasn't a nice guy then.
Wendell Stevens, it is highly unlikely that those behaviors are overnight behaviors
True.
or
They're
sudden
always signs.
manifestation of a particular behavioral pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When two people
True.
close the front door and go in the house, nobody knows what's going on.
Additionally, Paul, remember the sister was saying that the reason that the girl broke up with the guy was because he was toxic.
Yeah.
You know?
Some
They,
reports, there was a history of abusive behavior. Stop
yeah.
saying he was a nice guy. He wasn't a nice guy.
Yeah. And
Okay?
I mean, a lot of people feel abuse is simply about physical.
There's
Sometimes,
mental abuse.
well, there are several levels of abuse.
Scientific research shows that 90+% of those cases are because of a history of abuse behind
Yeah.
closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And when the woman leaves, some of these men think they are their property. So how dare you? We've seen it over and over. Stop saying he was a nice guy.
Mm. Mental. He clearly had mental issues. It's like reading that story with that mother and son the other day. I mean, they're saying I don't know. I don't know if the story actually identified it as her son, but it was her son who murdered the mother because of some internet issue.
Yeah.
And I will reference the Prime Minister's statement, though indelicately put at the time, which is still good advice for both women and men.
Mm-hmm.
Choose your partners wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He may have said it indelicately, but the message was sound advice.
Yeah. But I don't know that the Prime Minister is not one to mince words. So,
Well, people had an issue with the way he crafted, but the
yeah.
message was a productive message.
Yeah. There are people who probably have the same issues that he's talking about.
Commissioner of Police, here with Christopher, has put out a release yesterday related to the 6 people who died after an exchange of gunfire, according to the police information, after they committed 2 home invasions and robberies within 12 hours of them being intercepted by police. They have been ID'd in the release as Jovan Simon 31, of Claxton Bay, a 16-year-old female, where her parents of Laramine, a 16-year-old, Nicholas Caesar, Salim John 19 of Claxton Bay, Kevin John 23 of Claxton Bay, Isaiah Oliver of 21 of Arima. And the commissioner has identified that there's and we've seen it in the news media, according to reports, a disturbing trend of many, if not most, of the heinous crimes being committed are by people under 25 years old.
Yes.
And she's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is and goes to an absence of parenting.
Yeah. When I first heard that story, I didn't think it was a true story. You know, I said, "What? Police killed 6 young? What crazy story is that?" And then I realized that there were other parts of the story in terms of the home invasion and whatnot. And one of the victims of the home invasion say, "It's good for them." Well, those are my words. He doesn't. He has no remorse.
Well, it's three. That 6 adds to 3, one of whom was shown in several online photographs holding quite a sophisticated weapon, and he was said
Right.
to be 16 years old.
That's by the cremation side, the resistance members, right?
So, and 2 of them were reportedly members of the resistance gang at 16 and 17 and 18 and 19 years old.
Yeah.
Which means since them 12 or 13, they're involved in some kind of nefarious behavior.
Well, clearly, the police sending a serious message now. You know what I mean? We're not going to be pussyfooting and mollycoddling with you all when we come at you all.
Mm-hmm.
It's level bullet. You understand? So I don't know if that message
let's
is.
phrase it as if you shoot at police, you will be shot back at. And
If
based
what,
on
sorry?
the current trend, if you shoot at police, you'll be shot back at. And the current trend indicates that you may not survive.
Well, well, it's clearly now. Well, it's several shots, several kills. If they know one shot, one kill again, it's several shots, several killed. That's it.
Yeah.
If you shoot at police, fire will be returned, gunfire will be returned, and based on the current trend, you will likely not survive. So, know what
I want to go
I am
further.
being very diplomatic, Wendell.
I know. But you know me, I always get in trouble with my mouth, and I'm going to go further. You don't even need to be shooting at the police now. If you are confronted by police in any situation where they think you have just committed crimes, it's clear now you're going to get bullets in your tail.
Well, I don't know that from what I have seen reported in the media and through police reports, that the cases that we have seen end up in the media are persons who have opened the fire on the officers. So let's stick with what we know in terms of.
You don't want to stick allegedly in there, by the way.
No. The police reports have said the persons have opened fire on them and they returned fire.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the last couple of cases, none of
what do you call it again?
An exchange of gunfire.
Yeah. And they're not going to get any sympathy. Sorry.
No.
Well, there's no public sympathy that I'm seeing.
None.
The police complaints authority is doing its duty and investigating, but I am not seeing any public sentiment saying, "Oh God, what the police do."
Mm-hmm.
Especially in this case where a victim has come forward.
I think it's because people are quite fed up, and that doesn't mean that we should justify police going beyond and above the law, but certainly people are fed up. Good morning, Mr.
Morning, Rich. Good morning, guys, and good morning to our listeners and viewers wherever you are. Yeah.
Morning, Council.
But going back to that roadblock that happened by the lighthouse we spoke about on Wednesday, and I watched the video again, and this individual really did nothing wrong and got a ticket.
That is not unusual. I have a ticket contesting in court right now.
Car. He gave him a ticket for a broken headlight, which clearly was not broken. Would the first police officer tell him go ahead? The second officer tell him stop again. What madness is this?
So how does a teenage girl end up in a car with 5 men on the receiving end of police bullets when a gunfire exchange ensues? Where are her parents?
Yeah, 16 years
Where's
old.
the parent of what is the age of the other teenager who was in the Salim John, who is 19 years old, and then the 3 who were killed previous to this, with the 16. Where are their parents? Where are their parents?
Today, if they're in their life, probably morning.
Yeah.
The other issue that came out yesterday was that
And
I got a copy of the initial report from the committee set up by the Prime Minister to look at constitutional reform, the National Advisory Committee on Constitutional Reform, which had quite a number of recommendations, including return to the former process for the appointment of a commissioner of police and deputy commissioner of police, taking politicians out of the appointment of members of the Police Service Commission, fixed terms for prime ministers, and a set date for elections. Comment.
A set date for elections. That one will be interesting.
Well, nothing that you said there I object to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I assume they took God out of the preamble.
Why would you?
Oh, you didn't notice?
You taking God out when you're starting your place praying?
So you didn't notice?
You taking God out, but you stopping praying before you start your place?
No, whoever wishes to pray, prays.
Was that one of the recommendations that they take God out of the preamble?
Previously.
No, Richard was being sarcastic and snarky.
No, previously that was a recommendation. Previously that was a recommendation that God shouldn't feature as a preamble to the Constitution. The Constitution should be very secular. That was when they previously had remember, this is not the first round of consultations with regard to the Constitution. This is like, I don't know, the third. So I don't know if that was one of the recommendations. But that recommendation of taking God out of the preamble was not about an anti-God thing. It was simply that it's a secular document and it should not reference any deity.
Who made the recommendation?
I can't remember who made that, but a couple of people made that at the time that it was done. When you remember, there was a point where the People's Partnership was doing constitutional reform and they were going around.
Mm-hmm.
And that was made at several of the town halls, if you want to call them that.
Well, I could see under that government why someone would make that proposal.
But it wasn't the government making it; it was people at the town hall making it. To be fair to them, and I'm just saying, and they're saying, and they were saying that if you are doing a secular document about the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, you shouldn't reference any deity.
Mm-hmm.
It should be simply about these are the laws or the supervising document, if you want to call it that, that governs how institutions interact and what the rights and fundamental rights of the people who inhabit this space are protected and how they are protected, and the intersecting of those rights with state agencies. Because ultimately that's what a constitution is. It's laying out that foundation.
Right. But how would removing God from the preamble, change from the preamble, right? How would that change?
In other words, you're saying don't reference any deity. Just simply say this is the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago.
You're saying God?
If you look at the current Constitution, there's a whole long preamble about, in God we believe and blah, 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 blah. So they just said, take that out. Which I agree, take it out. It should be a secular document. Especially as in Trinidad and Tobago, you have several versions of God.
Well, there's still only one God as far as I'm aware.
But that's a Christian belief.
No.
It is a Christian belief. There are people who believe there are other avatars and versions of God. Not everyone believes there's only one God.
I think I would have listened to a Hindu the other day saying there is only one God.
Okay, well, I didn't say Hindu. I said there are people who believe there are more than one gods.
Well, there are more.
Are there only 2 or 3 religions in the world?
Right, but there are more than one representations. But it still goes back to one God.
That's still a Christian.
6:35. Shall we open the phone lines? I ain't getting into it.
Very maga.
I ain't had this
very maga.
What say?
I ain't had the strength for a God debate this morning. Where's Steve?
But that is the devil working on you, Paul. You have to fight it.
I'm looking like I'm up to it, Paul. I don't really have the bandwidth either. But I'm just stating what was said as you brought up the constitutionalist.
Mm.
And you know, I'm one that believes that documents like that should be secular.
Don't let the devil defeat you this morning, Paul. Fight.
That's where I
Fight.
come down on that.
Are you inferring that Ragoobarsingh is the devil?
No, of course not.
Okay. I was
Let me
just
tell you
making
something.
sure that was not your inference that you said
No.
the
No, but I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. You see that young man in the middle there, that attorney, that
young, I
playwright,
see a young man in the middle there.
Me,
that
I'm in the middle and I'm the young one.
he, with his spirit and his generosity and his character, more godlike than some of the people who in church every Sunday morning.
I have no argument. I have no argument with that. Can we open the phone lines, please?
Okay.
I have absolutely no argument with that. I have seen some of the best and some of the worst people come out of edifices that are purporting to be of spiritual nature.
You're waxing philosophical this morning.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen. Steve, give me a minute this morning. Good morning, Wendell.
Good morning, Miss Sampson.
How do you become a mayor?
The party in power, the party that would have won that local government area district selects you as a mayor. At the end of the day, it's a voting. At the end of the day, it's a voting process after you've been selected. That is, it's just a formality.
Because next month is 1 year trying to see this mayor. 1 year since he's in office, and I called Tuesday, and they said that he don't have time for John Public because he's a councillor. So could you be a councillor and a mayor at the same time?
You can, but and he is a councillor and the mayor. But I don't know that Robert would be saying he don't have time for people because he's a councillor. That doesn't sound like the Robert I know.
Yeah, no, but that's what I was a whole year. Next month is 1 year waiting. I'm tired, put my name down in a book. No, they don't even have the book. They have it on a paper where you could just wrap it up and drop it in the bin. So when would we see the mayor? A lot of nonsense. Sometimes I wonder if I alone living in San Fernando, somebody opened the space that they have the little train, the antique train. They close it off because of vegan. Now it has vendors selling inside there. Put all the vendors down on Mokurapa Street. They finally moved 99% of them from High Street. The next mayor put a set of booths around the library, which was so dumb to me, and which is a landmark. Well, somebody moved it. I think it's this mayor moved it. This mayor decided to block off the whole in front of San Fernando Market with some huge iron float, I call it, not on wheels, for the bandits that vegans sleeping on now. Before you have to drive around a whole hour to get a park to go in the market. Now there is no park because in front of the market, line off with some iron float that was for the vendors that they're not using, that vegans sleeping on. Who thinking about San Fernando like is I alone living here? I am just fed up.
I hear your frustration, Ms. Sampson. I mean, you've been talking about these issues for a long while. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to tell you. I don't know what to tell you on air. I could tell you something, but I don't want to tell you it on air.
Well, WhatsApp me.
I'll do that. I'll WhatsApp you.
It's ridiculous. When they place in a hot mess, well, the CPAP now lately, it doesn't make no sense they clean. Because when they done clean, they drop a set of bags all over San Fernando, and the bags remain there and look disgusting, rotten, and open out and start a fresh set of rubbish, ends up in the drain. Better they don't clean. Nobody monitoring anything here at all. Now, if the last mayor did listen to me, this mayor wasn't going to do this nonsense because I told the last mayor, put some slanted lines in front of the market, put a traffic warden so you could only spend at least 15 minutes because the market not that big, and then you could park and and go in the market and come back out. You go now. You have to look for a parking space. Pay the $20 to go and buy a tomato for $6. Who running the show in San Fernando here? I'm just because I wish I could take up my house and drop it on a plot of land somewhere else in some other country. I'm so disgusted.
Oh,
I really wish I could do that. How I see how they do it in
I hear the fed up senior
Mary.
voice.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
good.
That's
Anyway,
frustration. But
Wendell,
but the irony just now of you saying you had to pay $20 to park to go and buy a $6 tomato. Yeah, those are issues. I'm sure someone in San Fernando is listening. And I'll try to ask Robert to just view this part of the program, and listen for himself. I won't tell him what you say. I want him to hear what you say.
if the next one did listen to me, this one wasn't going to make that mistake. Talk to the elder, talk to the San Fernando. And when did I'm a real San Fernando and I brought up on San Fernando Street. I'm sure you don't know it had a step on San Fernando Street. That is how old I am. Go please, give me a hearing.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right.
All right,
Thank
Miss
you.
Sampson. Take care.
All right. Lots of calls. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Morning,
You know,
sir.
you know that religion talk is something that I always looked at. Everybody keeps saying that it's different representation, but it's the same thing. Could I take my let me say I have a Thanksgiving, since it's the same thing, and bring it and do it in your church, and you bring yours and do it in my church? If it is the same thing, then we shouldn't have a problem with that, because I think
That's a bad how should I put it analogy to use.
Analogy.
Yeah.
no, how that is bad when we watch me. We all worshiping the same thing. It is just different. If it's the same thing, there should not be a problem. Okay,
Yeah, but
tell me.
you saying to go into another church and do your preaching or do your Thanksgiving. I don't know that I don't know that
Here what we're doing there. What we're doing there is doing the same thing in a different way, so it doesn't really matter. What it shows there is the oneness between what we all, because all we saying it is the same thing. No, tell me this.
but caller, that happens, Hindus go in Christian churches, Muslims go in Christian churches, Christians go in Hindus. There's a conversion of people all the time,
You go and practice. Go and watch me. Go and not just go and practice. They okay. Like I have a Thanksgiving or something. I go and I do the Thanksgiving in your church. You could do yours in mine, because it's the same thing. So let me draw an example for you. Do you ever observe that there are religions that keep the prayers and whatnot, and when they keep the prayer and the stuff, they give you little bags with little things to eat and stuff, and when you have, they're not taking it at all. They're not even coming. Have you ever noticed that? They're not
but
taking
that's
it.
a choice. But that's a choice people have.
No, no, it's not a matter. Yes, it's a matter of choice. But you're looking at the reality of things. We say everybody have a choice with anything. But what we're saying is that what you're saying and what is happening when you, okay, like for example, the interreligious organization. When you listen to these people talk and hear them talk and hear what they say, they live something else. That is what I'm saying. They literally live something else. So when we say all is one God and it is one God, what we're doing, if we not letting the practice overlap between each other. If it's one God, then we have a unity. We just do it different, but it shouldn't really matter. If I come to your church and keep a celebration, or you come to mine and keep a celebration, I respect a person. I respect our person's right to worship whoever they want or whatever they want to worship, but I don't respect what they worship.
All right.
All right.
Respect what what they worship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Well, the police finally decide to push back. Well done, officers. Well done. Because I don't understand how they was allowing these bandits to just roam this country. I mean, I listened to that elderly man last night on the news, and I'm saying, Lord, you could imagine you living abroad and hearing your parents talking about the ordeal they went through. I mean, Counter Martin Luther King, how long? How long were we going to continue with this? My God, and I want to praise that officer who went into the church and got the guy who ran in there and dressed us as, oh my God, like he watching CSI and Chicago PD. Lord, thank you, officer, for your good work. Thank you. And you need to go to Tobago now and clean up Tobago because it is clear the Tobago police can't handle it. Because up to now, they can't find the four men, the people who killed the four men. A little place like Tobago, and all you can't find them killers. That's why look at the license. When I listened to the Commissioner of Transport on a radio station yesterday, and that man talk about car drivers, they pull off, no, they drive in, no license, no insurance, all kind of madness. What the Tobago police was doing. But it's clear. I remember a friend told me, she says some of them don't drive with no license. I said, so when they hit somebody, they fix each other car and guys will go on in Tobago. So officers, I think all you're supposed to fly over to Tobago and show them Tobago police how to do it. You all have a blessed weekend.
You have any say to Ragoobarsingh? Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
All right.
Absolutely, I do, Paul.
And
You wish me to
it's
start?
Friday. We leave the pool from Friday for you.
All right.
All right.
Let me just get my young people accoutrement here. Just a second.
What is he mumbling there?
I say I'm getting my young people accoutrement.
All right. You have a couple of minutes. Let's get in the headlines.
It's called the Daily Express for today. And of course, today is Friday, August 16th, 2024. Just in case you didn't know, the Daily Express for today, the front page. Relatives of men killed by cops call on parents. Talk to your children. Dad, keep a closer eye on all your children if all you could and try and shine some light in the dark areas where we don't know where they does be. That's the main headline on the Daily Express. Link between poverty and crime. Constitution Reform Committee concludes link between poverty, crime. There's a main picture of, I think these are the people who were killed. So you have Javon Simon, Salim John, Kadeem John. The pictures of them. And my sons are good boys. Sudil John speaks to a police officer outside his Claxton Bay home yesterday about the police shooting of his two sons, Kadeem and Salim. PM plant for profit. And on the back page of the the Daily Express, well, it's a plan for profit. PM launches Shade House Agricultural Project in Shagaramas, and there's a picture of Dr. Rowley shaking hands of some young people. So I'll have to Stewart Public Sector short 2,000 nurses, staff experiencing burnout. That's of course Edie Stewart. And the main stories in sports. Wickets galore on day one. Joseph takes 5 for West Indies, South Africa. Hot back. T-Ball season cancelled, and Theo Bowles boys kick off against Aruba. So that's it for the Daily Express. The Newsday for today. All of them have this advertisement on the front page. All I will tell you all is that it's not Lotto Madness. And on the front page of the Newsday today, cop killings should not go unchecked. PCA head, no body cam footage from 36 fatal shootings.
That's your poll right there, Paul.
Serious?
Again.
Repeat that?
That's your poll right there.
The PCA head says no body cam footage from 36 fatal shootings. Cop killings should not go unchecked.
I think our thesis has just been verified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No sympathy for 6 slain by police. And
That's another possible poll right there. Do you have sympathy for these 6 young people who were slain by the
We
police?
asked something earlier this week. Are you concerned about police-involved killings?
Okay.
So we asked the thing earlier this week.
Police speak to opposition MP Ragoobarsingh in Jereem at the scene after police intercepted a stolen vehicle at the corner of Park and Henry Street in Port of Spain on Thursday. So there's a picture of that scene. And on the back page of the Newsday, Pacer Shamar stars at home in Ghana, but Windies batters let it slip. And Kishon targets 2025 season. So all of that is on the back page of the Newsday. And moving on to The Guardian, which is there on the front page of The Guardian. What did they go with? I'll tell you. Father of 2 of 6 suspects killed by cops. I tried my best with them. Admits one of his sons had a criminal record. And there is a picture of the father and there's a picture of the sons. Totally different pictures. Well, one of the pictures is completely different to the one in the Express.
Okay.
What's a worker charged with mom's murder? And on the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, 17 wickets fall on opening day. And that's it for our 3 dailies this morning.
So all right. Let's the results of our morning poll that we asked you yesterday. Are you concerned about the number of police-involved deaths in Trinidad and Tobago? It is a tie, 50-50.
So Paul, let's go this today. Which should parents take full responsibility for the criminal activity of their children?
Well,
let's tug at people's heartstrings this morning. Let me see all the people who say, "To God be the glory, and with God all things are possible." Let me hear them this morning.
Is it that you mean for legal responsibility?
For legal responsibility for the criminal activity of their children,
of their minor children.
Children. Is it 18?
Children is anybody under 18, so you're not to say minor again.
Well, just saying children, people may say is adult children too.
Okay. Once you're 18 and over, you're not a child anymore.
I get ready. Sure. Let me pull a little bit now.
Oh, Lord. It's Friday. Play yourself. It's Friday.
8255. Toll free North Americans, 866-525-1099. On WhatsApp at 3181021. Of course, on WhatsApp, we do not take calls, just messages. Yes or no. All right. On our morning poll on Facebook, on YouTube as well. You can vote yes or no. You can tell us your name too, so you don't have to guess. So our poll is: should parents take legal responsibility for the crimes of their minor children? Yes or no? All right. We have a couple of calls coming in, so let's start. Good morning.
Good morning. You didn't read the poll?
Steve, Samson wanted to read the poll.
Should parents take legal responsibility for the crimes of their minor children?
Yes, they should.
All right. Thank you.
I would like to get the word blame in there, to tug at people this morning.
Good morning.
Blame is not legal responsibility. Blame is very passive.
I would say yes, because it's minor. The children are minors, and you responsible for them until they reach 18. So I would say yes.
All right. Thank you. Let's see what we got. Ooh, other messages coming through here. Hanif Daniel says no. Alistair Hart says yes. Richard Knights, yes. Cynthia Aaron, yes. Rena Jennings, yes. Gloria Gray, yes. Julia S. Batiste, no. Ian Lee, yes. Slick Money Grip, yes. Hector, No. Randy Kelly? No. Michael Gradison? No. I don't know. I know, whatever it is. Yes. Hanif Daniel? Yes. Catherine Henry? Yes. Gregory Bauer? Yes. Let's look at WhatsApp. Let's go. Dre? Yes. Jaron Joseph? Yes. David Nelson? Yes. Vincent in the UK? No. Eddie out in Staten Island? Yes. Captain Ron? Yes. Anthony in Toronto? Yes. Roger Seawing? No. Let's see. Okay. Let's go back and see here. Okay. Look at message. Catherine Henry did, Gregory Bauer did, Donna Clark, yes. David Wes, and of course, Mrs. Wes. Yes. Carol Guevara, yes. Kenny out in Harlem, yes. Anderson Matthews, yes. Patricia Dufour, yes. Shirma Paul, yes. CPT Singh, no. Cynthia, okay, Cynthia didn't vote. Keegan Barrath, yes. Cheryl Henry, yes. What says you, caller?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Wendell, you get away with your poll this morning. Careful, you know. Careful out there. Careful where you're roaming. And you like, and I know you like pole vaulting. My answer is yes.
Thank you. Good morning.
Paul, why are lady harassing me?
I do understand that.
Morning, caller.
Good morning. Greetings to all. I say no to the poll.
All right. Thanks, big guy.
Paul,
right.
you're losing control.
Patrick Smith says yes.
I don't control my lady. She has a will of her own and agency.
Lenny
She's
James
responsible
says
for her actions.
Lenny
Yeah, but
James
she
says
pulled-
no.
She
Evans
pulls
David.
switching. She pulls
Evans
switching
David
and pull
says
watching.
no.
She's
Lorna,
accustomed to
morning
doing that.
Lorna, morning Carly, morning Indy says yes.
She likes variety.
The port is pole vaulting, Zena, not pole watching.
She does both, actually. She watches and then she votes.
Finbar Collins says yes. Patrick Smith, yes. All right. Should parents take legal responsibility for the crimes of their minor children? Yes or no? All right. That's our poll. You have like less than a minute to vote. So DL says yes.
I shared, I don't know if people follow me on Facebook, look at the latest video I shared with a pastor that I thought was one of the videos worth sharing. And it is about children, a pastor preaching to parents about their children and never giving up on their children. Watch that video on my Facebook page, people.
Nikisha Pierre says yes.
Relatives upset over police use of force in killing 6. There is nice, loving fellas.
They worry about their children robbing people too?
A good boy.
They ain't say they worry about that. Did they mention that they worried about that, Richard?
I didn't read the article, so I can't
Okay.
say.
I'm just wondering, question mark.
I can't say.
Beauty Culture says yes.
You know what we should try to do, gentlemen? We should try to interview parents of children who have been either charged or convicted of crimes like this. Because and what would have been their conversation with these children over a period of time? I would love to find out. How does a parent deal with a child knowing that child is committing crime? I would love to find out.
Remember money?
A quote from Sunil John, who is I think the father said, If you don't need to kill people, children, don't kill them, because it's a life still. It have jail for that. It have thing for that. As it pertained to his children, he said it was not necessary. They didn't have to kill the boy and them.
All right, gentlemen, we got to run into our 7 o'clock major news. Evie Hill Bab is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Commissioner of Police Earl Haywood Christopher laments that major crimes being committed by persons are under the age of 25. No case of mpox locally, but the health ministry remains vigilant. Sprint's Jereem Richards determined to get a 2028 Olympic Games gold medal. Police in Jamaica say Sunday's mass shooting linked to 6 previous violent incidents, and Sweden confirms its first case of mpox strain outside of Africa. Details in a moment. This is News to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Cynthia Bab. Good morning. Commissioner of Police Earl Haywood Christopher yesterday lamented that 4 of the 6 people killed by police on Wednesday were all below the age of 25. And this is part of a disturbing trend. The suspects were identified as 31-year-old Jovan Simon of Diamond Village, Claxton Bay, and Nelson Street, Perseverance Coover, a 16-year-old female of George Street, La Romaine, Nicholas Caesar, Salim John, 19, of Sumhill, Claxton Bay, Kevon John, 23, of Sumhill, Claxton Bay, and Isaiah Oliver, 21, of Maturita Marie Avenue, Arima. In a media release, Christopher said the incident will be thoroughly investigated. Just before daybreak on Wednesday, several men staged a home invasion at the Freeport home of 68-year-old Edward Taylor, a man enfeebled by 3 strokes and a heart condition. The group reportedly took jewelry and cash before escaping. Later that morning, following intelligence received, police went to a house in Razak Trace, Freeport. Upon arrival at the premises, the officers identified a Toyota Aqua car reportedly linked to the recent robbery. The officers said they were met with gunfire and return fire, killing 5 men and a teenage girl. Haywood Christopher said society needs to confront the issue with honesty, urgency, and resolve. The Commissioner of Police added that the important and crucial role of parents and guardians cannot be understated, as they play the primary role of guiding youth towards positive and constructive paths. She also said, quote, "We need to actively engage with young people, support them, and help them to navigate through these turbulent times and steer them away from the appeal of criminal behavior." End quote. There should be a return to the former process for the appointment of a police commissioner and deputy commissioners, where the Police Service Commission recommends suitable persons to the Prime Minister for the positions, with the Prime Minister having a veto. Also, consideration should be given to changing the Police Service Commission to the Protective Services Commission and expanding its mandate to include prison, fire, and municipal police service. The National Advisory Committee on Constitutional Reform also recommended that no public service employee be favored or prejudiced because they support a particular political party or cause. The committee noted that politicians, by way of parliament debate and approval by the majority, are allowed to interfere with the appointment of members of the Police Service Commission, and this undermines its integrity and independence. The committee also recommended that the Police Service Committee evaluate the current system to establish mitigating factors, including compensation, that prevent applications from qualified recruits from among the best talent within TNT, the CARICOM region, and the diaspora. The Ministry of Health is assuring Trinidad and Tobago its various systems are in place to address cases of the contagious mpox disease should it occur locally. There is no case so far of the disease in TNT, but vaccines and antivirals are available and isolation protocols will be followed. The virus is passed on via close sexual contact.
In the event that we have cases of mpox in Trinidad and Tobago, we have the vaccines to treat people, we have the antivirals, and the isolation protocol is typically to isolate at home. People can be isolated at health facilities in our isolation rooms, especially if they are seriously ill. So the Ministry of Health will continue to update the population as this situation develops.
Minister of Health Taryn Singh, in a voice note on Thursday, revealed what systems and resources are available to treat with the condition if it is detected in this country.
The Ministry of Health takes note of the WHO's release today about the outbreak of Mpox that is affecting the world. Remember that we treated 4 cases of Mpox in 2022. The typical signs and symptoms to look out for are flu-like symptoms, fever, rash, blisters, and it must be remembered that this virus is transmitted via close contact, especially close sexual contact.
The World Health Organization has declared the Mpox outbreak in parts of Africa a public health emergency of international concern, adding it has killed at least 450 people during an initial outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. National sprinter Jereem Richards still has his sights set on achieving an Olympic gold medal for Trinidad and Tobago, hopefully at the next Games to be held in Los Angeles in 2028. Richards says so far he has attained medals at all of the major athletic events around the world. However, he admits an Olympic medal has so far eluded him and is determined to change this reality. Richards says he also has short-term landmarks he would like to accomplish. His desire is to improve his ranking, which now stands at 5th in the 400 meters and in the 20s in the 200 meters, adding the aim is to move into the top 10 in each category.
So my long-term goals for sure is, to be able to get a medal in an Olympic Games, which the next one would be in LA. But if I'm looking short-term, next year, please God, we still have World Championships. The year after that, we have Commonwealth Games. I have a title to defend. And we have World Championships again after that, and then comes the Olympics. So I try to take it year by year. Each year is different. I don't want to focus too much on something that's too far away and not look at the present and see what's important in the moment.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. In Jamaica, Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey, who oversees the crime portfolio, says the police investigation into Sunday's gun attack in Cherry Tree Lane, Clarendon, has made significant progress, revealing connections to at least 6 previous violent incidents in the parish. We have more in this report.
Unfortunately, our findings indicate that these local violent issues have international roots and incorporate local players, some of whom are incarcerated. These individuals, who once were friends in Jamaica, are falling out in the United States over illegal obtained gains, leading to each taking homicidal contracts to incite fear and terror.
Sweden says it's confirmed the first case of Mpox Clade 1, a viral infection that spreads through close contact and is a more dangerous variant of the Mpox disease. Dominic Hughes of the BBC is following the story.
This one seems to be a bit more deadly. It seems to be claiming more lives. So amongst adults, they think it claims maybe 1 life in 20, but amongst children, up to 1 in 10. But there is this concern because the disease has been spotted in 15 other African countries. And then now Sweden's health ministry have confirmed they now have a case of this Clade 1, this variant that is the variant that has been seen in Africa and these other African countries.
Straight into weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, medium chance of isolated heavy showers or thunderstorm mainly over western areas of Trinidad during the afternoon. Mostly fair night apart from the odd isolated shower. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding can occur in the event of heavy showers or thunderstorms. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, the temperature at Piarco International Airport is 24 degrees. It is 28 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock. Commissioner of Police Earl Hayward Christopher laments that major crimes are being committed by persons under the age of 25. No case of Mpox locally, but Health Ministry remains vigilant. Sprinter Jereem Richards determined to get a 2028 Olympic Games gold medal. Police in Jamaica say Sunday's mass shooting linked to 6 previous violent incidents, and Sweden confirms its first case of Mpox strain outside of Africa. I'm Avril Sintilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news in detail at 12 noon and an update coming your way at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You can join her again. Come at 8 Jeez, I tell you, Avril, I need a raise. You can join her again 8 o'clock for our news brief. I tell you, Evie, the camera, you see what she's doing? You all saw that? I need a raise. I do. I need a raise. Anyway, let's see what's happening on the highways and the byways. Usual stuff, just a little volume. School is not open as yet. We'll wait till it opens. Got some traffic from Couva to Sugar leaving San Fernando towards Point de Pierre. You've got some east-west corridor just by Trinity, by Santa Rosa, and getting Port of Spain. Not too bad at this time, just some congestion. Same thing on the Eastern Main Road in the usual spots. All right. Let's see if we have any more votes here. We have John Cato saying yes. We have Augustine saying yes. Keith Clark, yes. Let's see. Okay, I don't know. WhatsApp. Central Animal Lover saying yes. Right, and that's what I have thus far. Right? Okay, let's get the results.
Right, so our poll this morning was, should parents take legal responsibility for the crimes of their minor children? We had just now, let me tell you how much we had. We had 51 votes in the allotted time, and of the 51 votes, 40 of them said yes. 40 of our voters said yes. Parents should take legal responsibility for the crimes of their minor children. 11 disagreed and said no. Of course, you can continue to vote on this poll throughout the day, through all programming, and we'll give you the final results on Monday morning, because we're going into the weekend. And of course, we're going into theater this weekend because a lot of madness is on at Cipriani College on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday at 8:30 and Sunday at 6:30. Tickets available at the Cipriani College box office from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily, and at all the usual outlets, including K Squared Fashions at Eastgate, West Mall, and Brentwood Mall in Chagonas, Electronics in Arima, Jubilee Railway in Tunapuna, and Tony's Florals at Valpark Shopping Plaza and Charfley Auto Services. Of course, tickets are 250 general and 300 reserved. And of course, you should get your tickets. We are so looking forward to being at Cipriani College this weekend with Lotto Madness. So theater is definitely on this weekend at Cipriani College in Valsayn. So you heard the results of our morning poll, and of course, but Paul, I saw that you sent the PDF, so I'm just kind of perusing it.
The initial report of the Committee for National Consultation on Constitutional Reform. If my memory serves me correctly, the Prime Minister did give them some more time for more public consultation. So I guess that's a first report. And my understanding was there was supposed to be some sort of national discussion at the Hyatt or some venue. I don't know what happened to that plan, so we'll see how it goes.
Is there something on this weekend?
I am doubtful anything will come out of all of this.
Well, if they have to depend.
Yeah, we need the opposition support.
That's what I say. If they have to depend on opposition, then nothing will happen.
Well, my understanding of the initial plan was that the committee was going to go out and get public input on the issues and air their views, and the committee would compile a report, and then there was supposed to be a discussion session for a week or two at, I think it's the Hyatt or the Hilton, where stakeholders came and discussed it for a national discussion and ventilation, after which a final document was to be compiled, which would be laid in Parliament and hopefully debated. But I just know this has happened before, documents created before. Mm-hmm. Because of the contentious political divide in this country, because it's for major constitutional reform, if you don't get it right, if there's not consensus in the Parliament, it can't go forward. So everybody's won constitutional reform until they have to vote.
Nobody's won constitutional reform until they're in power. And then what happens after that?
Yes.
They do nothing.
Yes. No one wants to cede power, you know. No one, you know. At the end of the day, they just like people like the feeling of it and the fact that they have authorities to do X, Y, and Z, and they know exactly what authority they have. So, our poll was quite interesting because of the phenomenon. I don't think it's a new phenomenon at all, but I do think the perpetrators or alleged perpetrators are getting younger and younger. And the commissioner's information, well, her opinion that it is a parental thing. Yes, it is. It is a family breakdown thing. It's a lack of proper parenting thing. When you look at the responses of some of the parents, when their children, their minor children in particular, and their very young offspring, seem so embroiled in a life of crime, I wonder how they feel past the child and up unfortunately dead. And did they feel that, because they know, most, if not many of them know, where this would end up. When he or she bringing home thousands of dollars, when he or she hiding guns in your house, when he or she not working, going out at night, coming back 5, 6 in the morning with loot, and giving you from that and you taking it to do what you have to do. How do you think it's going to end up?
Yeah.
Remember,
he was a good boy.
Remember the mother out in Santa Rosa or somewhere that realized that, where did my son get these clothes from? And took him to the police station.
And you know what I think is happening too? I think there's a level of intimidation young people using now, because I'll tell you of an experience I had the other day. I was going up the road. It was pretty late. And somewhere in the Davide area, I stopped at a traffic light. And there were 4 young men. They were all dressed in black. They suddenly leave the pavement and walking towards me, so I watching them, you know what I mean? Because I watching their hands first to see where their hands going. You know what I mean? But it was just, I got it after, it was just a kicks thing with them, you know? So I watching them, and one walk around the front and the other 3 walk down the side. And I watch them, and then, well, of course, when the light changed and how I would react. Did I lose you all just now there?
Just for a second.
All right, yeah. And then I drove off and I see them, you know, with a kind of smoke on their face. I say, so
well, I looked at a
now,
video this morning also in the same vein of a household where clearly a daughter and mother and some male individual outside cussing the daughter and saying you call the police for her, or she saying she called the police for him. And her mother is in a towel and she's telling her mother, "Mommy, go inside, you're talking stripperness." When the man is confronting her in the mother's house and literally talking to the mother like a child. You know, and a lot of parents let these children get away with so much nonsense all that it becomes so commonplace. I want to take them to congratulate the TTPS. I was coming home last night and I saw 2 police cruisers pull aside and help a driver in distress on the stretch of Uriah Butler there by the hospital, just by TNTech there. And stopped in the darkness. One was in the back and one was in the side, and stopped to help the driver, who clearly had some mechanical issues with the car, and they took time to stop and make sure the driver was safe and help. So congrats to the TTPS for that act of kindness.
Well done. I've seen that before, so well done.
So I thought I'd mention it because it was too dark.
Well, that's good news. We need some good news.
So let it not be said.
I think generally the TTPS helps people in distress when you see them pull. I think I generally see that all over. But if someone seems in distress, they stop. So I will always give them props for that.
Back to the issue of parenting. Yeah, and they raise these children in so much of a cavalier, permissive manner. They call it soft parenting. And when they turn around and bite them in the behind, when the children take over the household, and somebody is mentioning earlier on, they feel threatened and intimidated by their own children. By the time the children reach 14 and 15, they're cussing them and doing what they want. So anyway, we should have.
Well, I have adult children, and trust me, no child ain't talking to me or doing me what they feel like. You understand? So there's a certain.
Some of them is love the trend beyond and above.
Yeah.
You believe
I love my children.
But unconditional love. I have unconditional love for my child, no matter what my child do, I dare for my child. Okay. All right.
Aren't you talking about the unconditional love of the Father, the God
we're talking about children and parents.
Subscribe? Doesn't He love us
but
all?
God,
but it have consequences to doing bad with that unconditional Father.
Doesn't He love us all unconditionally? It's a simple question.
But He does. He does, Richard.
He does, but that doesn't mean there won't be consequences to your actions.
I'm just asking, does He love unconditionally? Yes or no?
Yes, He does, but that doesn't mean there won't be consequences to your actions. Good and bad.
Thank you.
I'm not on trial here. You ain't no lawyer telling me when to shut up and no yes or no answer, sir.
I didn't say to shut up, sir. I just said thank you.
But that infers you get what you want. Yes. And it have consequences for your actions too, such as the unconditional love of the
deity to which you subscribe loves us all unconditionally, and forgiveness is given even at the last hour of your breath for no matter what you have done in this life.
If you repent.
Right.
And offer true contrition.
Christianity is based on the fundamental principle of forgiveness.
Open the phone line now, Steve. Save me.
Yeah, let me save you in serious. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Hey, yeah.
Good morning, Dean. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was reading the papers here. There's an interesting thing about
Dean, the clock running, eh?
Look. Okay, wait, go on. Like he was saying something here. The parents were saying yeah, they might do a little something, but they're not killers. What and it's the idea that the little something we do in the communities, we always let it go. Them fellas, they're just doing things, but they ain't really, it's just making food. We hear that already. They're making a living, they're surviving. We have heard all of those coming out of mouths of family members. And those things is the broken window thing, when you let the little things pass and then it builds up into bad things. But I think the thing with the parents, again, is we need to also ask, where are the social workers? And I was listening to the interview with Gregory Sloanstein and all them after program, when he was saying you just have to release social workers. Where are the social workers? Where are these social workers? As much as we're talking about parents, we have to understand that social workers have a very important role in helping people sort out their issues. Because this man here talking about his son is obviously overwhelmed. Some fellas,
sons.
They don't have the temperament to deal with it. As you was asking when if parents could be held accountable to things. If you don't know the middle class, a counseling is $300 an hour if you can afford it, $400 professionals. And it have a lot of the middle class. If you're working class and you can afford to pay the thing, doing counseling, you're going to the thing. All that maple leaf and thing. I talk to people who went into the business of it. It's $500 sometimes an hour. Now, who could afford it? Getting them the private care, and I have gone through that, and I've seen the kind of children there. They have them working class, but a lot of middle class and a very big elite class, and people dealing with it. And when you're dealing with that, you see the spectrum of Trinidad and Tobago dealing with parents just overwhelmed, parents who have resources, businesses, big brick and mortar buildings, and they overwhelm. Child run the car into a wall and thing. So we have to understand that social workers have a role to play and ask the government, where are the social workers?
Thank you, Dean.
I think that's the question. Yeah, man.
All right, all the best. Good morning.
Gentlemen, good morning again.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, listen to me carefully. Just give me a second before I make my point to clear up something that was said earlier. Mr. Wendell? Mr. Wendell?
Yes? Oh, you? I thought you were talking to Steve. How I come in this?
I know when I want to address you because I didn't really, I didn't, the poll, I didn't change my likeness for the poll, you know. Your poll after you get away this morning, it was all right, but that didn't say that I switch my allegiance.
But I'm happy, Zena. I'm happy with those sentiments. You know, when people feel my poll is all right, I'm cool with that.
But don't think that you think that you will involve Paul now and try to make him feel a how, you know. And in his defense, he say I like well, I forget how he put it. But Paul, you were slightly wrong there. You understand? Anyhow, let me leave that alone this morning because
you're a provocateur, you know. You even an agent provocateur. You just plain a provocateur.
Listen to me. You see, children test parents. And no tail. I want to talk the old people talk. No tail was no wagging no dog inside my house. You understand me? So when you come to test me, you have to contest me too. So no, that's all I have to say on that, because they don't just stick up one day and decide, well, I doing this just so, and it start to happen. It start off small. It started
10 points in the front of the class.
Yeah, so no tail wagging no dog. The dog have to wag the tail and full stop. Okay, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. Good morning.
I don't even know.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Special good morning to Richard with the beautiful skin.
Thank you. That's me. That's me.
I have a question. There's Carol here. I have a question. It's been all over the media and stuff that Kishore Walcott received $250,000 from the government. And I think Michelle Lee, he got $187,000, something like that. It's only both of them got money. What happened to Jereem Richards? He didn't get anything? I haven't heard that. I was wondering.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
They didn't indicate.
I think there is an elite athlete program where certain athletes get funding. I'm sure Jereem is also part of that. I don't know if he is, but if he isn't, well, then there's a case to be made out for that. But that Kishore and Michelle here would be part of that elite athlete program that gets funding. I don't know why people on social media making such a big issue about it.
I don't know that you can qualify for an Olympic game and not be considered in the category of an elite athlete.
In an article I read,
you can.
The first 10 people, Kishore would have been the ninth fastest javelin thrower, whatever you call them, in the world. They go up to 10. That's why he qualifies for that money. But
no, I don't think so. I don't think that the money that they're getting from the government has nothing to do with where they qualify in terms of the Olympics. There's a bunch of athletes in the country who are part of an elite athlete program. That's entirely our country helping them out.
Okay, but I'll find that if I can find it again, and I'll send it to you, Wendell. So that is what confused me, because Jereem was number 4 in his event, so he's 4th in the world, you know. So I was just wondering because I hadn't heard that they received anything. So okay.
Yeah. No, it's
Carla
people who would have
Jereem got
qualified.
250,000 because he's in the top 8 in the world. That is what Carla Cupid is saying. I think when you're operating at that level, you are considered an elite athlete at some level. And there may be different tiers as to how much they're allowed to get, but they are considered elite athletes.
Right, because most of the people who qualified for this Olympics, this was their first time, you know. Most of the people who represented Trinidad and Tobago for this was their first time, you know.
Yeah. All right. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning again, gentlemen.
Morning, big guy.
I two quick points with respect to the Christopher's comment about the youth, the younger and younger getting into crime. I don't know those of you who may have seen several of Christmas Bliss's videos. There were young, like 10 years and 12 years children among the so-called alleged gang members, and on several of his videos, and one of them, the youths were actually playing a shooting game, with some kind of electronic shooting game they were playing with each other, where you have something in the chest and they fire each other or something like that. And they're so they're actually growing up in the crime. Okay, that's one. With respect to the parents being held accountable, in my travels through life, I have been asked on 2 occasions by women to speak to their children. One of them, well, the children, one of two boys were going astray. I spoke to them on several occasions. It made no difference. And the mothers were doing the best they could with the children. Okay? So I can't see them being held accountable. If, however, they are proven to be facilitating the crime, like the guy in America where they bought the gun for him, yes, in that way I can see them being held accountable, but not if they are actually trying their best. Because, okay, Zina said about the dog don't wag the tail. I mean, tail wag the dog wag the tail. But you might come across a young boy who's very strong, and he will wag you. Okay? So it's that mentality. So I don't agree fully. I said no just now in the poll. I don't agree fully with holding the parents responsible unless you could prove that they are facilitated in some way that the children involved in crime. All right, that's just my take on it, gentlemen. Have a great weekend and take care.
All right, thanks, big guy. All the best to you.
Good
morning, caller.
You say it's more nuanced than just a black and white approach to it, from what you're saying.
Hello?
Yeah, morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Children need to start to be trained from 1 to 6, and then you guide them from there. But people start to train children after they don't adopt the bad habits. Like what this guy is talking about, sometimes the parent can't deal with the child because the bad habit is already embedded in them. They're very smart, they're small, but they could tease you. From 1 to 5, you train the children, and then after that, you guide them. But when you're waiting to train them, when they start to go primary school, they don't have the bad habits in them already. When they're concerning the Jerome, I feel that where he started racing there was one of his problems. Why I said that is because my grandson, whenever he riding and he get in that inside lane, he used to have to work hard in order to win a race. You must go into YouTube and check
You're talking about Jereem, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeland. Go into to YouTube and punch in my grandson's name, and you would see what I'm telling you. When he started racing in that middle lane, he just have to work very hard to win a race. Jereem, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I think Wendell is on mute and he doesn't realize.
Yeah, sorry. Which is why people had an issue when I posted Jereem shouldn't be easing up, because by him easing up in that semi-final caused him to be in that lane. That is why, and why Kirani James, when he was losing, he increased his speed and won the race so he could get a preferred lane. People don't understand that is also part of the strategy. It's not just about qualifying, it is about qualifying so that you could get a preferred lane. You know, so but Jereem did well. I'll be in the God willing, I'll be in the next Olympics in Los Angeles. I'll be there.
All right. Let's have some other calls. Good morning. You too, Paul? Paul, you have the kind of luck that you're planning to go to.
In what discipline, Wendell?
I'm going, when I give my story next week, you'll find out what discipline.
Okay. Morning, caller. You're going to break down soon.
Wendell,
yes, sir.
Wendell hit the nail on the head with the issue there with Jereem and the lane assignment, you know. I think when they go back and assess the whole approach, they will recognize that they need to just iron out a few things. And I wish him well going forward. You know, the last lady was making a point here about training children and how early it begins. And it dawned on me that, you know, just yesterday evening, I was walking on the recreation ground, and there was a parent with a child maybe 2 years, between 2 and 3 years old. And he was lifting this boy, and he was real misbehaving and crying. And my thought was that as a parent, he was being irresponsible. And as the lady called, I called to say this. A lot of people don't realize that the first tool that a child uses to try to intimidate a parent is crying. And they do that from very young. So that once they can't get their way, whether it's they want a bottle or whatever it is, they cry. And you must differentiate between whether they're trying to intimidate you properly or not and execute there. And don't just respond to the crying as though they're in distress. Because sometimes they want to put you in distress, even though they're so false. Which is making that they clever from school. That's a natural thing in children. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Yeah, but children will test you from the time they're born.
Yeah. Good morning.
Silent testing me now.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
This situation with crime and children and whatnot, you know, society itself always look at the side to condemn and criticize. Now, we know there are parents who don't really look at children, but there are parents who try desperately to train and bring up the children, and never on one instant you will hear a person say, thanks to those people, or give kudos to those people. It's always, all you want to train all your children, and all you want to train, and it have people here trying so hard. I know personally people who take real care with the children. I know a lady and a gentleman. The gentleman was a fireman, and the lady was a housewife. And watch me, that lady used to make joke with the children and thing when you hear school and church and two of these children come out serious romping and if you will not believe they come from a home like that. And nobody doesn't really give kudos to people who do things like that. Another thing is with this crime issue, people somehow tends to always want to attack the police for when things happen with these boys. These boys and them, a lot of them dancing with guns. They doing all kind of different things, and nobody find not that. Nobody does really complain in a real sense. All here, how they just complain. Oh, so much of crime, and so much of this, and so much of that. When the police put roadblock, they vex. When the police shoot, they vex. What it is they want. What it is they want. Anything that they do to try to deal with this crime issue, people have a problem. Oh, he's a good boy. All the time he dancing with gun and he doing this, he doing that, he doing the other. The people trying to talk to you, people try. I used to work in a company, and I used to train some fellas. Let me tell you something. Some of them young fellas not easy, No matter what you tell them, some of them, watch me, they're real bright. But they're using the brightness for the wrong thing. And people not really commented to me. There's a moral support given to crime right now. That when a person do something, they didn't have to shoot him, and they didn't have to. A man take up a gun and shoot at the police. What the police to do?
But callers, there's also the larger picture of how does a society deal with the fact that a certain percentile, however small, of young people is being attracted to criminal activity. What's causing that? And what's causing that?
I will tell you one of the things I think, Richard. One of the things that I just look at, I think that, okay, when I am 68 years old, when I was the age of 14, 12, and I never see nobody kissing and short skirt and all them kind of thing. I never know and see those kind of things. I couldn't pass anybody in the morning without saying good morning, good evening, and whatnot, and those kind of things. And watch me, the world have evolved so much that it begin to leave our parents and grandparents behind. That is why a child will take a computer and blah, 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 and you as an old person can't match with that. Children get so, it is so advanced and they have evolved so much. The immature mind have been exposed to so much of things in society that we never knew about when we can't deal with it. So now these children have ways and we are dealing and that. Just like if the guy said there, our child crying and it is ways to intimidate you from small, a lot of them having.
But when we were growing up too, but even when we were growing up, there were some guys, and well, I mean, I have to talk about guys because I went to a boys' school, but there were some guys that were just bad, and they had brothers who were not like them at all.
Yes.
The brothers were all normal and cool, but there was this particular brother that was just bad. And in the community, people used to say, boy, you see that one? She read, all the other children come out good, but he come out bad. He had a bad mind.
I see parents.
You know about that. You grew up in societies across Trinidad and Tobago where one child all of a sudden was the bad John in the entire family.
Yes, I see parents used to come in school and cut the tail in school, deal with them and deal with the teachers, follow man. Yeah, these children, they just, no matter what, they just choose a certain way in life and they go in ahead with that. All you have to do is to try your best. But I think people should give some kudos to people who try because nobody does do that, you know. Nobody does do that. And when the police deal with certain issues, everybody has a problem. Everybody has a problem with roadblock with the and they only talk and then they come back and talk about crime or the police crime. What do they want? What it is they really want? And that is part of too much of moral support is being given to crime.
Yeah, which is why I agree with big guy. Unless you have their parents who trying very hard with children, and at the end of the day, the children still can't change. But here, what I want to focus. Here, what I want us to focus on this morning.
Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Because that is a conversation I was having in Jamaica just yesterday too. The Jamaica have institutions dedicated to young people who want to excel in in track and field and so on. You understand? We don't have that back home in Trinidad. We are strictly on academia. You understand? But in some of these places they have and we don't focus on these people at all. Look at our Pan concert that we had, Pan Trinbago had the other day. When you watch the platforms, it's only young people you're seeing. But do we focus on them? Do we highlight them? No. We can't focusing on these young ones who just gone astray and every day after day after day and bombarding the younger ones with this criminal news over and over. That could never be good for us. We need to reverse that. I tired talking.
Yeah.
I will do my part in my little corner.
Morning.
Morning, Diego Martin.
Listen, it has a lot of parents. They feel hitting a child is
disciplining that child. I don't know where they get that from. They wouldn't talk to the child and let them know what they do wrong. They just hit. I stood up yesterday. I parked my car. I normally park and ride when I'm going into Port Austin. I parked my car and walked to not too far, to the corner to wait for the bus. A guy who I normally see walking, he has a little son, and he's walked with him, like he picks him up from school and things. He walked up to the bus stop, and when he reached by the bus stop, he looked down and he saw the little boy is about 7, 8. His license was untied, and he hit him one lash. Why your license untied? And I said, what the hell is this? A man said, but oh God, anybody license? I just go walking in the morning, I will tie my license. And time I start to walk down the road, maybe I didn't tie it tight enough. It untie. I said, what the hell is this? That is what you call abuse. And he now will say, oh, I just trained my child. And, you know, sometimes they take out frustration. I don't know if he alone sees about the child, if he wife leave him, but it is bring the frustration on the children. You can't be doing. And next, I know Maxia, their little boy, passing, seeing the advertisement, KFC. Mommy, KFC. If you hear that young girl start to go to, you wanna tell your aggression. I said, Jesus Christ, isn't a Maxi, you talking like that, you could imagine home. So a lot of them, they feel, oh, I beaten and disciplining at all you have it wrong. You need to let the child know what they're doing is wrong. Not everything you hit them a lash. You hit them a lash and what? They keep doing it. Oh God, man, all you, please. I tell you, that thing real upset me yesterday with a man do that little boy because the boy lacing untie. Oh, please, man, I tell you, some of them, the child authority need to come for some all you. Have a good day.
Well said, Mr. Martin. I totally subscribe to that too. I hate to see people abuse children. Beat children.
Good morning.
Morning again. It's not all the time you beat up children, but a good cut, and I know Richard wouldn't subscribe to that. A good curtail for something that you need a curtail for could put a stop to it. Let me give you an example of what happened.
No.
My son, my two sons, the bigger of the two, when they were small, he loved to play with matches. The father talked to him or explained to him about it. He still want to go and play with the matches. Well, that was the first and only curtail he ever get in his whole life in this house. He put one curtail on him and tell him about what playing with matches could do and what that. After that, he didn't want to see matches. So sometimes just talking alone and telling me about going a north corner, not working it. And I want to just say to big boy that no boy, when he talk about I might have met a young man younger than me that could have licked me down or whatever, however he put it, that had to be an outsider and some crazy boy. No son of mine couldn't talk to me in no way and couldn't look to even try to raise their hand. Because I used to let them know too that not because you're growing tall, if needs be, I will jump up on the table and to hold you. So don't, that as I said again, you have Miss Samson said it, you have to start with them from small, very small. So they have to know, and you have to explain, and they have to know the boundaries. You understand? So
And Zina, people need to, and there's no doubt that some children are more difficult for many different reasons. Not
of
all
course they
children are
are.
the same.
But
Some
let me
children
tell
are
you,
actually more difficult from the time they're born. They're more temperamental, you know, and you have to learn how to deal with those children. Not all children are the
right.
same.
And then again, people have to say, yes, my children had mother and father, but it have some mothers who are single mothers and grew up their children very good and very stern too.
that you know well what is right and what is wrong and how to behave and how not to behave. It have some again, as I say, you do a thing and your mother leave you and you feel it all right. Then if you can't control the child, take the child to a police station or somewhere where they could talk to them. I know schools is bringing police to talk to the children, you know. You understand? When
And
they
there are children who, and you know, that My Lot and My Part program is a great example of a state initiative that is there when parents are finding trouble dealing with children who are giving trouble with behavioral and emotional problems. And the number of children who have gone through that program, who have started off on the wrong end, who the parents just couldn't cope with them for many reasons and end up on the straight and narrow and living productive lives is not funny, you know.
Very good. And let me tell you something. Just want to give you an example of there's a judge in the U.S. Virgin, one of the U.S. Virgin Islands. He introduced a program. I heard him when he came down here and he spoke. He came on the behest of Pantrin Bego. He was a judge in one of the courthouses and he was the main judge, I think, in one of the courthouses in the Virgin Islands. And he said he was telling Pantrin Bego he used our own instrument to harness the boys, the young, and many of the young men in his country who couldn't behave. He said he was tired seeing the youths coming in front of him, juveniles, and you have to sentence them to jail or sentence them. And he came up with a program that he used our national instrument and put a program out there for children who behave in bad students. You go to that class on an evening, you do your homework, and after you do your homework, you be taught to play the pan. And he said it caught on with different schools and different judges. And listen, they had a whopping program going till the government find it was going so good. They gave him a special allocation every year to carry out that program. You understand? Just like how you would give ministries money, got money for that program. You understand? A discipline program. And sometimes that is things like that is what they need. And he took our own instrument and do that. Thank you.
You know, I do ever enjoy raising the specter of politics in some things, but I can't help it sometimes because as I already raised the issue of My Lot and My Part, those were also programs put together prior to 2010, and they were cut, unceremoniously cut after 2010. Okay, they've since restarted. And I got cut off when I was speaking with Dr. Ken Butcher on Wednesday. I lost internet. When I asked him about those training programs that he was talking about, that were also cut. And he said it. I didn't say it. He said it was cut by the then UNC government. You understand? So it's a lot of those things we're paying a price for, you know, for when governments come in place and you meet something, leave it for crying out loud, not because a previous government did it. You're just cutting it. And that has been the pattern, sadly, in Trinidad and Tobago sometimes, where we make politics and spoil people.
In a small space. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In a small space that could least afford it.
Yeah.
You're always changing stuff and switching out policies.
Yeah.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning, guys. Happy Friday.
Hi, morning. Same to you.
Happy Friday, guys. So I was listening to everyone speak of parenting and so forth, society. So my son is 20, and I'm almost 50, but my son is 20. And even as a 20-year-old, he's in college, and he would call me, Mom, could I go out with X? I'm like, nope. Who are these people? No, he's 20. You understand? That's the level of respect my son has for me, and he knows I'm a mad person. I'll drive down to the college and knock his head out. But everything, all kids, is a blank slate. The only thing they come in with is genetics, right? And how you train your child. And I don't beat, but one thing is to get a little whooping. But after that open, he know, mom don't play. Even if the school will call, he will tell him, hey, I will call your mom. He's like, don't call my mom. She's crazy. What all they need to do, So the children are blank slate. So we have to train them. However, there's some parents that's been denial, right? Where you see certain things and you're just, oh, he's just a baby and he's just a child. No, these things you could see them, and sometimes, I thank God he was, we were here in the U.S. because I believe in different assessments and you see what your child is into from a very young age. My son was always a builder and he's always into Legos and robotics. And so we groom him all that way to college where he's doing what he loves. This academic, when I call and I talk about academia and everything is not academic, what I'm trying to say, I'm not saying that it can't get the basics, but assess your child and see what you want your child to be a doctor, and the child may not be a doctor, he may not have those skills, that mentality and so forth. So the schools here do assess that. Our schools here in Georgia, even at a middle school level, it breaks down in performing arts, sports, whether it's ROTC, military. So, all the kids not going into a pool to be a nurse, you assess your kids at an early age, right? And then extracurricular activities. I mean, there is no sport my child didn't play, and I realized it was helpful for him. It was helpful for him going to different workshops and so forth. These kids nowadays, they don't even go outside and play. You understand? At 19, I watch my son and his friends and them, they actually go out and just recreational things still, even though they're studying in colleges. There's a balance with everything. And then we have a society, I realize, in Trinidad and Tobago right now. Oh my God, it's so touchy. You understand? Oh, well, we can't do this. Please. Here in Georgia, at one point, the kids were not going to school and they were ending up in the malls and XYZ, to the point where the police will pick them up. If your child not in school, the parents get charged. You understand? Until that, I don't even see them anymore. Everybody's in school. They will charge you as a parent. So they give you take responsibility as well. There's a lot of things for me, what I see in the education system in Trinidad as well, and then parent-teacher conference and parents teach PTAs. Parents don't go to PTAs. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you have to know what's going on in the school. How you expect the system to change if you're not part of it, part of the change, and you're not there? But anyway, I will digress, but I will always say there's genetics, and a child is a blank slate. They learn from the people around, their environment, and so forth, and what you teach them. You can't wait until 7. At 7, they already have the character.
You too, all the best.
Coming up after the 8 a.m. news, we'll be replaying the interview we did with Jereem Richards yesterday, so you can look out for that. You all have a great weekend.
I missed it, I slept through that morning yesterday. I'm sorry I missed it because I had no intention of joining it.
So you can look out for it.
The hour behind threw me off and I slept. Yeah. I'll look out for it. All right, folks, have an absolutely wonderful weekend.
Have a great
be
weekend. Be
careful on the roads and remember to let go and let God.
Yeah, have a great weekend, whatever you do. And remember, you should be doing theater because it's on this weekend at Cipriani College. Lotto Madness is at Cipriani College this weekend, Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. And of course, tickets available at the Cipriani College box office from 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily, as well as K-Squared Fashions, West Mall, East Gates, Brentwood Mall, Chagonas, Jubilee Broadway, Tunapuna, Electronics Arima, Anthony's Flores, Valpark Shopping Plaza, and Sharpler Auto Services. That's where you can get tickets, and online, you can check RSRR Productions Theater on social media for how to purchase tickets online. Have a fantastic weekend. Looking forward to seeing you at Cipriani College this weekend with Lotto Madness. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Have a great weekend, people.
All right. Thank you, Rich. Do have a good day. Let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief. AV is there.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Time for your news update to 8 o'clock. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. Commissioner of Police Earl Hayward Christopher yesterday lamented that 4 of the 6 people killed by police on Wednesday were all below the age of 25, and this is part of a disturbing trend. In a media release, Christopher said the incident will be thoroughly investigated. Just before daybreak on Wednesday, several men staged an invasion at the Freeport home of 68-year-old Edward Taylor, a man enfeebled by 3 strokes and a heart condition. The group reportedly took jewelry and cash before escaping. Later that morning, following intelligence received, police went to a house in Razak Trace, Freeport. Upon arrival at the premises, the officers identified a Toyota Aqua car reportedly linked to the recent robbery, according to police. The officers said they were met with gunfire and fired back, killing 5 men and a teenage girl. Meanwhile, Sunil John, father of 2 of the boys shot and killed in the incident, wants the nation to know he did his best as a father. John lost 2 sons, Kadeem, 23, and Salim, 19, in the police-involved incident at Razak Trace, Calcutta No. 2, Freeport, that left 4 others, including a 16-year-old female, dead. Kadeem, who was also called Kevon John and Kevon St. Bernard, had a criminal record and was recently released from prison on bail for robbery. He was a father of 2, a boy aged 2 and a girl aged 1. Salim was working as a fisherman. The Ministry of Health is assuring Trinidad and Tobago its various systems are in place to address cases of the contagious Mpox disease should it occur locally. There is no case so far of the disease in TNT, but vaccines and antivirals are available and isolation protocols will be followed. The virus is passed on via close sexual contact. Minister of Health Terence Singh, in a voice note message on Thursday, revealed what systems and resources are available to treat with the condition if it is detected in this country. A national sprinter, Jereem Richards, still has his sights set on achieving an Olympic gold medal for Trinidad and Tobago, hopefully at the next Games to be held in Los Angeles in 2028. Richards says so far he's attained medals at all the major athletic events around the world. However, he admits an Olympic medal has so far eluded him, and he's determined to change this reality. Richards says he also has short-term landmarks he would like to accomplish. Well, that was your update to 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Good morning, Jereem the Dream Richards. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and I would like to extend a pleasant good morning to everyone in Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you.
Good morning. For joining us.
First of all, let me take time to congratulate, thank, and celebrate you for your efforts in Paris and way before that, and your sacrifices and contributions for many years in making Trinidad and Tobago proud. You and your colleagues in Paris and your Olympic colleagues, we are highly appreciative of your efforts and extremely proud of your efforts and your accomplishments.
Thank you very much. I'm much appreciated, man.
Yeah. Congrats, of course. I think you also set a new national record in the 400 meters. Yeah, so congrats on that too.
Thank you. Yeah.
Huge accomplishment.
How do you feel about Paris? Let's start with that.
It's a bittersweet moment, I would say, for me. I've been to 3 Olympic Games. My first was in 2016 in Brazil. I was a reserve on the 4x4 relay team, and I wasn't able to compete because I was basically the slowest person on the team. Fast forward, we went through COVID 2021. I was able to make the 200 meters finals where I finished 8th in the last Olympics. And our best chance of getting a medal would have been in the 4x4 relay. We looked really poised to earn a medal in the 4x4 relay. Sadly, our last leg sustained an injury during the run. Once again, that's just sports. So we wasn't able to get a medal in that one either. this time around, I felt like, okay, this is the one. I'm ready. 2 times the champ. I worked really hard. I had an injury last year. I used that as fuel for the fire coming into this year because I knew what I was capable of. And I this year I came around very seasoned, peaked at the right time, was healthy when I needed to be healthy. Out of that lane 9, there's no other way to run that race. That was the only way to get it done, because the first 100 meters, you have the shortest turn and you get to the backstretch first. But on the second turn, you have the longest turn. So you now have to kind of average how you run that second turn and how you execute that first part of the race. It was all I had. It was all I had to give. This was the best effort that I had. I finished the race knowing, and this is something that I live by. Each and every time I run, I try to give 100%. So I know that at the end of the day, the result given, I know this was the best that I had, and it was the best that I had. I was able to break a national record. I didn't even realize, I think I'm the 3rd fastest person in the Caribbean behind Stephen Gardner from Bahamas and Karani James. This was the fastest race in history. Any other year, the time that I ran would have either won or finished top 3. It was the fastest collective race in history. I'm glad to be a part of that, but I just wish that I got a medal. It was so much things to be thankful for this time around, but at the same time, it's hard to be so close to a medal and not achieve it. But all I know, Paris was
1/4. Is it 1/400th of a second?
Yeah, 400th of a second. Yeah.
Wow. So when going into that, because this is your 3rd Olympics, and seeing how Olympics have progressed, what was and you may not have medal there, but let me tell you something. You made us all proud. We saw that you gave your all. You gave your all, and in any other Olympic Games, if wind did blow 2 seconds faster, hitting you and another athlete, you would have gotten a medal. So I think you have nothing to be unproud. You should be very proud about your accomplishment. How do you think this Olympic Games was different to any other, or was it different at all?
For me, it wasn't really that different. I would say personally, I just felt like I was more ready. I had more experience, hadn't been to 2 prior to that. I'm 30 years old now currently. Praise God that I feel like 25, 26 years old. And I just felt I had more experience, and I was just ready, really ready for this one in comparison to the last 2. The last 2, I still had like a little bit of butterflies. It still felt like the moment may have been a little bit too big for me. This time for me just felt like a regular track meet. It just kind of felt like a regular track meet for me.
And people have spoken about that before, the importance of young athletes going to Olympics and getting accustomed to being among all the big stars. What was your preparation like for this?
I work, what is very important in sport, I work with a sports psychologist. Her name is Lisa Mohammed Watts. I've worked with her since I was a junior athlete, and I feel like we push aside the importance of sports psychology. That mental aspect of sport, being able to be mentally prepared, visualization, compartmentalization, being able to prepare yourself mentally. Because when people say that sport is 99 or 90% mental and 10% physical, is actually true. If you are not ready mentally, you could be how much in shape physically, it would not matter, because your mind wouldn't allow your body to work how it needs to work. I was ready physically. I had a little injuries last year, and it kind of spilled over into this year, but I didn't lose faith. I continued praying, I continued working, and I trust in God that, when the time comes around, I would be ready. And, I was ready. I usually start the season off and I get better each and every time, so I just kind of trusted my coach, trusting the process, and my preparation leading up to the Olympic Games was good. I had a personal best in the 400 right before, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before the Olympic Games, and it was a perfect indication in the right time to show that my body was ready to compete. You just need to be mentally ready for these kind of arenas, because I remember my first experience going to major championships. walking out to set my blocks, and immediately I heard the uproar of the crowd. I've never ran in front of so much people before. I remember setting my blocks the wrong way and then having to readjust, and then it's easy for the moment to get bigger than you. So I think it's very ideal for the younger athletes to get someone to help you with your mental strength and make sure that you're mentally prepared for this type of atmosphere, but also get that experience. The experience is very important. So, next time around, you could say, well, been there, done that. I think that's the importance of it also.
What's next for you on the horizon? Because, of course, the next Olympics is in 2028 in LA. Are you zoning towards that? And what plans do you have immediately and in the short term, medium, and long term towards 2028?
My short term goals at the moment, I still have to run this season. I have a few meets in Europe. I actually leave this Sunday to head to Europe to run Lausanne Diamond League. I'll be running the 200 meters this time around. So I still have a few meets. I'll be running probably all the way up till mid-September, actually. And just trying to finish off the season strong, it has always been a dream for me to be able to finish top 10 to be ranked top 10 in both events. Currently, I'm ranked 5th in the 400 meters based on, times and points and stuff like that. And I'm ranked maybe 20 something or 30 something in the 200 meters. So hopefully with some meets, I'll be able to rank top 10 in both events. Long-term goals, I try to take it year by year. Obviously, my main goal of my career is to achieve an Olympic medal. I have every medal from every major championships, be it Commonwealth, World Indoors, World Championships, you name it, I've been there and gotten a medal. This is the medal that I need to get to finish that collection. So my long-term goals for sure is, to be able to get a medal in an Olympic Games, which the next one would be in LA. But if I'm looking short term, next year, please God, we still have World Championships. The year after that, we have Commonwealth Games. I have a title to defend. And we have World Championships again after that. And then comes the Olympics. So I try to take it year by year. Each year is different. I don't want to focus too much on something that's too far away and not look at the present and see what's important in the moment.
Now, I want to go back to the actual race, and because you're an athlete, we're not athletes. Well, I'm not an athlete. Richards is an Olympic athlete himself in his mind. When you get that lane assignment, because it seems that lane assignment is a very important part of the equation at that performing level in the world. Mm-hmm. What does that lane assignment tell you, and what are the advantages and disadvantages? I think you went through a bit of it before, but if you could walk us through that as non-athletes. What does that mean to you, lane 9 as opposed to lane 2 or 3 or 1?
So as an athlete, you need to prepare yourself to run in any lane. A lot of people I saw on social media was saying they always give Jereem lane 9. In the first rounds, I got lane 9, but that is by random draw. Now, when it comes to finals, what place you finish in your semifinals dictates what lane you acquire. So what they do is there are 6, and mind you, there are 8 people in the final, but there are 6 automatic spots that get to the final. So of 3 semifinals. So in each semifinals, they take the top 2 people, right? And that makes 6. And then after they take the top 2, they take the next 2 fastest times in a collective of all the semifinals. So what they do with the top 6, the preferred lanes, I believe, are lane 4 all the way to lane 9. It's a 9-lane track, but they don't use lane 1. Lane 1 is like an emergency lane in a sense. But what they do, the top 6 people who got the automatic qualifying marks, they line them up in order from the fastest. Fastest gets the most preferred lane, and the slowest of the automatic times gets lane 9. So although I finished second, one of the semifinals was really, really fast. They ran faster than all the other semifinals. So they got the top 2 in that semifinal, got the preferred lanes, and me being the slowest of 6, although it's an automatic spot, the best lane for me to get was 9, and then the other 2 slowest times got lane 2 and 3, which were the inside lanes. Now, being on an outside lane like that, this would have been my 3rd time this year running out of that lane. As I explained before, I know that you get to the backstretch first. This might be what physics, I think, maybe. If you move in a straight line, if something moves in a straight line, it moves faster. Being in lane 9, you get to the straighter line, which is in the backstretch. That second 100, you get there before everybody. So you need to now utilize the speed on the first half of the race. The thing is, when you get to that second turn, you have the widest turn compared to everyone also. The people on the inside have less turn, but you have a really wide turn. So when you run around that second turn to get to the straight, it is feel like you went from a distance from so far to everybody just closing on you. So me being the fastest person in the race by leg speed outside of Michael Norman, I say, well, here, I sit down and I think about it. I think about the race. I analyze who in the race, who were in the race. And I just told myself, they are knowing the other guys in the race, knowing that I'm a 200-meter runner, they are going to go out hard because they know I'm a speed runner. They're going to go out hard because they think I'm going to go out hard. And I need to go out hard because I need to be able to get to 300 meters before them because I have a really long turn on the second half of the race to run. So the disadvantage of being out there, I would say, is that you have no one to key off of. I can't see what's going on behind me, and I know in track and field terms, I'm the rabbit in the race. Taking everybody through, they could now gauge themselves off of me, but being out there, I have nothing to gauge off of. I just had to execute my race to a T. As I say, being in the sport so long, having all that experience, I knew that I had to put myself out there so that I came off on the home stretch in contention of a medal and then just try to finish. And that's what I did. I look back at this race and there was nothing that I could have done different. I remember in the last 10 meters or 5 meters where I lost a medal, I even ran through my mind to dive. And I was so out of energy, I couldn't even dive. It felt like I was just falling and landing on my legs, just falling and landing. And I told myself, like, just me in thinking about it in slow motion, I was like, Jereem, if you dive right now, you're going to fall. So they even tried to dive. I had no energy to dive. It literally was like, that was everything I had to give. If I tried to dive there, that would have been it. So, yeah, that was kind of how, in terms
what's your primary training location? And do you think, in a general sense, our athletes are satisfied with the level of support they get? Because from what you said, being able to go back and look at races in the past, you have your personal experience, but from what I've heard of athletes around the world, they have their whole team, they look at the physics, they have analytics, they have computer screens, they have the kinetics analyzing your run versus the other people's run. Do you think we have that kind of support, and does it make a real difference in the long run?
Yes, it makes a real difference. Do we have that type of support locally? No. I think there's a lot of things in place that should be put in place to have track and field a better sport and give us a better chance to be successful. I train currently in Claremont, Florida, in the Adidas camp. I train with the likes of Noah Lyles. And when people, it's sad to say, when I see some people compare Trinidad and Tobago athletes to, the Americans, the Jamaicans, and all these powerhouse countries that have systems and structure in place for them to be successful, have support from all levels, from corporate to, just low-level support like family coming out and watch, and, community support and stuff like that. It's just sad that we are compared to countries on that level, but yet the average man wouldn't know what it takes. Training with Noah has a full team around him. He has a sports psychologist, he has a nutritionist, he has a doctor, he has a chiropractor, he has a performance specialist. He has every single thing, every single facet, everything that you could think about. He has it at his disposal. What that does, it creates an atmosphere for the athlete now to just solely focus on being an athlete. He doesn't have to worry about anything. All his needs are met, and all he needs to focus on is to be successful in sport. When you foster that type of talent in that way, it allows the athletes to be able to, one, stay healthy, but compete at a high level all the time. I saw a lot of athletes, speaking out about how, they need support. And I still think that we get substantial support, but there definitely is more to be done for us to be successful. And I just don't like the fact that track and field is always judged so harshly every 4 years. And when we look at the support that we get as a sport, it's like we get held to this level when people expect medals, but when it is to come out and support, or when it is to actually put in that support, maybe from corporate, or just community support, or just facilitating certain structures for the athlete to be successful, it's not there. And
What do you mean by you think you're judged harshly? Because I saw Michelle Liai put up a post that was agreed to by some and disagreed to by some. I don't know if you saw the post about when you're winning, people support you, and when you do get a medal, people don't understand the sacrifice you put in to even get to qualify. Do you think people underestimate what it takes to even qualify for an Olympics? And what do you mean by
I think
people being harsh?
No, don't get me wrong. This is sport. Sport is sport. People like LeBron James, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo have critics, and these are some of the best athletes in the world. I feel like still though, we get judged harshly in the sense that people don't know about what it takes to be a professional athlete. If I had to compare Trinidad and Tobago football to track and field, the way we would glorify a team qualifying for the World Cup compared to somebody qualifying for the Olympics or making a final or making a semi-final, it's not the same. Someone finishing 16th in the entire world is like, wait, them couldn't come back with a medal, them couldn't even make a final. It's just never good enough. And as I say, I just don't like the fact that these local people, and we have people that would come out and support, but we don't even get the support. When it's time to compete locally, the stands never full. The last time I experienced a full stands in Trinidad and Tobago was when I was in primary school. We used to have Milo games, primary school nationals, and that used to be packed, the whole stadium packed for that. But now it's like nobody don't really care. I think maybe it's the culture of sport. I think that.
Do you think it's the culture of sport? Not meaning to interrupt you. Do you think it's the culture of sport? Do you think it's the marketing of sport? And how it's marketed in Trinidad and Tobago to make it?
I think it's both the culture and the marketing. I think because if you compare it again to cricket or football, I think cricket and football have lime and drink, more or less. In layman terms, it has lime and drink in cricket and football. So even if someone doesn't like the sport of cricket or football, the atmosphere is there. Maybe we don't have the same atmosphere, and I could understand that it may be not as marketable and people don't really understand, but it's the most fundamental sport. You learn, you run, that is just natural. So maybe we could look into how we can make track and field a little bit more flashy and attractive to the public eye. But I just on the whole think it's unfair the way we are judged and versus the way we are supported. If I'm just looking at the local part, but in all, I still understand that it's sport and criticism is part of it. That is
how do you feel about the fact that the Prime Minister took time to congratulate your effort?
No, I feel great about it. To see that it was noticed, to see that my effort was noticed, and not just the Prime Minister, but friends, family. It meant a lot to me because I think in these days in the media, there's a big push in a negative agenda. Any negative news, people quick to share it and push it out and not look at the good that could be in something. And for somebody to see, for him to see, and for the people of Trinidad and Tobago to see the positive in that situation, it was like a benchmark moment for me to see that there are still people who could see the good in something that could easily be spun as something negative, you know?
You know when the Olympic team first arrived, the first barrage of criticism came because of what you all were wearing in terms of the Olympic wear. Was that something that was a little bit despondent to the Trinidad and Tobago athletes, that so many Trinidadians were focusing on that?
No, I don't think so. I think most in the camp itself, I think most people honestly just kind of didn't care. We just were focused on competing at the end of the day, because what we wear in a opening ceremony has nothing to do what we came there to do, you know. So I think the entire camp was just, we saw the comments, maybe one or two people just kind of laugh at it and take it as a joke, but at the end of the day, we came there to compete. So if something like that, you know, made you lose focus, then you're not really sure what you came there for in the first place. But the whole camp, I believe everyone was good. Nobody really didn't care about, you know, what people had to say about what
This being your third Olympic appearance, how do the younger athletes who, because I remember reading that some of the younger ones were so overwhelmed, but they were so happy that they got this experience. What is the interaction like between yourself, having now had a lot of experience with two previous Olympics, is with the younger athletes, and how do you think they felt if you interacted with them in that way about their chances at Paris and their support systems, and how they felt about being on that level of a global stage?
Being there, speaking to a few of the younger athletes there, I try to, you know, get them in that comfort zone, try to give them things that would help me focus. So, you know, I would say like, I'll say stuff like, don't let the moment get too big for you and make you get too overwhelmed. And, you know, at the end of the day, just perform as best as you could perform. That's what we ask of you. Yeah, I know there's a lot of pressure. This is your first Olympic Games, but, you know, try to lock in and focus in and ask God to just carry you through the moment. And once you could go out there and say, well, this is 100%, this is the best that I had to offer. And if it's a good result, if it's not a bad result, if you leave the track and you know that on this day, at this moment, this was the best that I had to offer, then you can't be mad at that, you know. So I hope it was able to help some of the younger ones, the ones that at least I spoke to. And I know at the end of the day, though, this experience in itself is going to be something that helps them become better in the future. Because as I said before, my first experience in a big crowd like that, I didn't perform well at all. But I used it as experience for the next time that I was able to run in front of a crowd that large, you know. So I hope they use it as experience and fuel for the fire. I told them that, you know, you may have not gotten the result that you wanted in this Olympics, but use it as a pivotal moment to go back to school or wherever you go to train hard in the off season so that you could be successful the following year, because we have World Championships next year, please God.
Well, great. We promoted this interview to give the audience a chance to celebrate and congratulate you. So we're going to open the phone lines so the audience can interact with you and pass on their congratulations and commendations to you. So while the phone lines are open and we're waiting for the first calls, let me ask if you think people underestimate, because their seasons, and when I called you about the interview, you were getting ready to go to a training. And people think, well, the Olympics done, so your work done, but you actually continue training. What is it like for you on a daily basis preparing for a big meet? And the phone lines are open, by the way, to get people a sense of what sacrifice it takes to actually get to a World Championships or get to an Olympic Games.
I wake up at 7:10 a.m. every day to get ready for practice at 9. I have a young one now, so my daily routine is a lot different. I train on the track from 9 a.m. till about like 11:30. Then we have gym. I'm in the gym from about 11:30 till like about 1:30. And then after that, I still have abs, and I have an ab session for like 2 hours. And then I had to come home and be a husband and a father too. And then try to go to bed by 10:30, 11.
All right, we do have a call, Jereem. Good morning to you, caller.
Good morning, Jereem the Dream.
Good morning.
This is Ken from Atlanta, Georgia. Facebook reminded me yesterday how long I have been watching you. I'm proud of you. keep your head up, young man. There's a lot of youth looking at you. You speak so you articulate yourself so well. Just continue. I'm still screaming and shouting on my screen every time I see you. I will keep supporting you. Even after your career, continue, being that positive role model, right? So keep your head. I'm so proud of you. I'm still screaming. I don't want to shout and Richard and all of their hair, but you go, boy. We are proud.
Thank you.
Diaspora is really proud of you. I just spoke to my mom yesterday, and everything is just so always positive to hear about you. So people are looking at you, and you are looking up to you. So continue doing what you do, sir.
Thank you, much appreciated. Thanks for the support out there, all the way in Atlanta.
Oh, most definitely. Bye.
Thank you, Candace. Janelle Penny Commission says congratulations to you as well. And all the best.
Thank you, Janelle.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning to Mr. Richards and the rest of the panel.
Good morning.
Yeah. First, let me congratulate you on reaching the finals in an Olympic event. That is always something big to start with.
Thank you.
And secondly, I've listened to interviews over the years with respect to the Olympics and other world events. I was really moved by that interview you did with that reporter. It was so moving to the point that you could hear every emotion in your voice, as if you really felt that you let down the country of Trinidad and Tobago, and you just felt disappointed at that point in time. How was it? I really was moved by that speech. You really felt, you let down the country, What's your stake?
Thank you.
I kind of felt like I did in a way. I feel like not really let down myself, but how hard I worked to just fall short. It was like there's a hard pill to swallow, and also I know how Trinidad and Tobago media this be, and I just didn't want. I would have liked to have a positive effect going forward with a medal, and thank God I was still able to have a positive effect without a medal. But I wish that I was able to bring home something. But at the end of the day, God's timing is best, and His plan is better than the plan that I have for myself. So we will see what the future has in store.
You referenced a couple of times seemingly a sort of judgment from the population of Trinidad and Tobago if you don't medal, and it seems that it's something heart-wrenching for you when you know you're giving your all and you're sacrificing. Would that be a correct assessment of that sentiment?
Very correct. My first experience in the Olympic Games, as I said, I wasn't able to run, so I had a lot of time on my hand outside of training. And in 2016, when I saw the kind of comments being made, that taught me not to be on social media during an Olympic Games or World Championships or something. But looking at it just sad that knowing that we are the best that the country has to offer, and not everyone, but some of our own people don't even appreciate it like that, But this is the best the country has to offer. Like, it can't get better than this, Now we could foster our talent maybe a little bit more with the right support, the right system, etc. But at the point in moment, this is the best the country has to offer. And it's like, some people think it's just easy to get an Olympic medal, and it's not, because everybody wants it, and there are only 3 medals available. If you do the statistics on it, the percentages ain't going to be high on how to get one.
You have vast experience now. You would have gone through primary school in Trinidad and Tobago, secondary school. You have the opportunity to train with the best in the U.S. now. What would you like to see, based on your experience in your career so far, put in place in Trinidad and Tobago from as early as primary school to start the development and succession process for athletes based on your experiences?
One of the biggest things I would say is that locally we don't believe in kids being able to multitask, do sport and academics. When your kids go to the US, what they would have to do on a scholarship, sport and academics. we need more systems in place to facilitate sport, to make sport more than a hobby, more than an extracurricular activity. I can't just pinpoint one thing, because if I sit down and I look at coaching, I look at, the systems in school that facilitate sports, stuff like that. There's just corporate support, having more structure, all these things would associate to having a vast improvement in sport. And obviously promoting sport culture, being more prideful, something as small as recognizing the past heroes of sport. In the past I made some trading cards for athletes, and in doing my research I didn't even know some of the athletes that were there. And if you don't know, you're not interested in it, you're not going to find it. So how could we now recognize these athletes for the younger generation to say, well, somebody from my community or somebody from my country was able to do this? We need to now put these athletes on the forefront where younger generations could look up to them and see something that, okay, if this person was able to do this, then why am I not able to do this also? He was from my area, etc., etc. So I think there's a lot of things that need to be done, and I hope that within this next 4-year cycle, we actually have some good, solid ground to stand on. So moving forward, the next generation would have good traction going into, World Championships and Olympic Games and stuff like that. But we need support, but not just from one place. We need support from everybody, from the ground up. We need support.
The corporate sector you mentioned in the US is very big in sport, because sport is $1 billion business. So they understand, even before Noah Lyle got his Olympic medals, talent there, Adidas, Nike, Puma, watching him.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that for you in Trinidad to be? Because I would venture a guess that had that 400th of a second been in your favor, and you got a bronze or a silver or gold medal, corporate teams, you would be lining up behind Jereem Richards to put a big poster on the papers with you. And,
well, currently though, I would have to say I'm currently sponsored by 1 Adidas, 2 Bryden's company, and 3 Atlantic and Caribbean Airlines actually also. So I have a few sponsors there. Now,
let's congratulate them. Bryden, Caribbean Airlines, and Atlantic. So we thank those 3 corporate sponsors for supporting you.
Yes. But I also think there's many different ways to sponsor. It doesn't always have to be monetary, but I think each and every company and corporate company could find a way to sponsor or help sports, be it through a track meet. If you're a company that maybe have, let me say, something like supplements or something along those lines, sponsor a club some supplements or some Gatorade or something like that, maybe some water, send a case of water, 2 cases of water to a club every month, just top them up, stuff like that. It doesn't always have to be like something you're giving somebody some money, but there's different ways to help and sponsor. People having events, be able to support these events and show that these companies are tied into the grassroots and able to support from the ground up. I think that is something very important, and companies shouldn't wait till someone is very successful to then jump on the bandwagon. And another thing is, sometimes when people are successful, some companies, they don't even support. They might just say congratulations and post it, and then post their logo with a picture of you, and they never supported you, but they dare to say congratulations and use that as a means of marketing themselves also, or to show that they are affiliated with. Nothing wrong with saying congratulations there, but say congratulations and support too.
Couldn't say it any better.
Are we still taking your calls?
Yeah.
We're speaking to Jereem.
8255 North Americans, 866-525-1099. That's our numbers directly into our studio.
Yeah,
A lot of messages on our message board congratulating you.
Thank you.
8255. This is your opportunity to be interactive with Jereem Richards. We're speaking with him. Our own kind of postmortem of sorts.
Yeah, someone was asking here a while ago, what were the conditions in comparison to other Olympics, to the Olympic Village in Paris?
It was kind of like a typical Olympics. I'm sure you all saw the viral cardboard beds. Trying to be as politically correct as I could be, but you saw the you saw the viral cardboard beds, which at a point was kind of difficult to sleep on. You had roommates and things, which is normal. We didn't have no AC, but it wasn't. You grew up in Trinidad, you could sleep with a fan, so it wasn't too bad. The atmosphere was good. Our setup was good. The Wi-Fi was working, so that was good. Where we were, it was right in front of the Olympic ring, so our real estate was good too. All in all, it was very similar to other Olympic games in the past, I would say.
Wonderful. Got some calls coming through, so let's grab them. Good morning.
Pleasant good morning, everyone. Pleasant good morning to Jereem and Richard. I want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Entering the Olympics. Now, when I look at your run there and in that particular fight, I see the intent of you giving your all, right? And I appreciate that. I could appreciate that. We continue to, I like the interview, right? And you answered all the questions. I have a quick question for you though, right? Like how you say we know that different athletes have a team around them, right? So like the light guys from America, different one would have a team around them to do their research to help you be the best you in terms of, or the best them in terms of what the sport is concerned. Do you have that team around you, all right, that that would be in the best interest of you to help you be the best you when it comes to you don't have to worry, then you have to go. You should have to just go and train and try to better your time, try to in terms of your diet and supplement in terms of technique. That is all that I think you should as a professional athlete would have to concentrate on, and your team take care of everything else. Do you have that team around you? And again,
all right,
congratulations, and we're proud of you.
Thank you. To answer your question, I have a team, not to his magnitude though. I have a sports psychologist. I have a doctor, which is Dr. Ragoobarsingh. I have a performance specialist, which is Alban. He was also on the Olympic team. He is part of the Olympic team. I have a massage therapist, both over here and back home, Nicole Fuentes-Charles and Sean Kettle. Obviously, my family and my intimate circle, my wife, my mom, my sister, my brother, my dad, my in-laws, Susanna, who always praying for me, all of them always there for me, always praying for me. It means a lot. To his magnitude, though, I don't, because he has accessibility to those people at least 2-3 times a week. Mine are a little bit different. Something like that, to have that type of circle and that type of system working, it becomes very expensive, and I just kind of had to work with my budget what I could handle. So I do, but not to that magnitude.
Two-part question as we head to close. One, who do you see as the people we need to look out for based on your experience in terms of the young athletes coming up, and place attention, emphasis, and resources on? And two, how important is events like the upcoming Character Games coming up next year being hosted in Trinidad and Tobago?
So I'll answer the who I see coming up. Kadeem Chinapu, he seems to be a very formidable, a very passionate and strong runner in the 100 meters, and the 200 meters actually. I think he could be a force to reckon with. If I'm talking about senior athletes who are the Olympics, Leah Bertrand, I think she is so talented. With maybe just 1 or 2 little things to fix, I think she could be one of the best we've ever seen. She is small, but she's powerful. Devin Augustine, he's also one of our top male sprinters right now, currently in the 100 meters. And he's actually a good 200 meter runner also. I think with some years of maturity, and I think he could be really good. And obviously, the Frederick twins. They are phenomenal at a young age. They're currently going to Georgia, so I hope that they do well in their collegiate debut next year, please God. And with the upcoming Carifta Games, I see this as a big opportunity for Trinidad and Tobago, one, to show our culture, to promote our sports tourism, and to come out and support the young athletes. I think it's very important because we are Carifta at home for the first time since maybe 2000 or whenever it was banned. It was a very long time ago. I see it as an opportunity for the people to come out and support, for our culture to be shown, and to promote sports culture in Trinidad and Tobago. I hope that we make the best of it. We support the athletes, and I hope that the athletes go out there and train really hard and work hard towards this, because at home, people gonna be expecting medals, so public, please support, please be light on the young ones, but let we try to come and full out this stadium, bring our rhythm section, show the different facets of Trinidad and Tobago culture, because this is the perfect opportunity for us to show that we are one of the best Caribbean islands in sports and in culture. And I don't think we should let this opportunity go by just easily and have a lackluster performance or a lackluster showing.
You hang out with other Caribbean islands. Dominica did well, St. Lucia did well, Jamaica didn't do as well as they normally do. What do you think is happening in Jamaica now, given their performance, to prepare them for next Olympics or World Championship? Because Jamaica has a different mindset, and you would be familiar with some of the athletes and their approach to sport.
In Jamaica, they have a really good culture and they're invested in sport. Everybody knows about track and field. It's their national sport. It's a big deal. I'm sure some Jamaicans would have been maybe disappointed in some of the performances, but they had some really big performances on the field. They had a gold medalist in the discus. But obviously now, since Usain Bolt has retired, we've yet to see the dominance in the Jamaicans in the sprints. Kishane Thompson looked really good. He lost by a fraction of a second in the 100, so it shows that they have the talent there. Oblique Seville got injured in the 100, and he looked like he was going to be a medal contention. So I think they might have a taste of slight disappointment, but also a lot of optimism too, because they still have a lot of fuel in the tank still, with a lot of young ones coming up still, so their machine is still working and still churning out athletes. It's just to get them fine-tuned well enough with that experience with racing and all of that, so that the next Olympics, they're able to be on that dominant spot once again.
All right. We do have a call, Jereem, a final call. Thanks for holding. Good morning.
Good morning again. I'm glad that Mr. Richards mentioned the Frederick twins, because I know they are just 18-year-olds. They recently competed at our games in the Caribbean and Grenada. And I would hope that those twins do not fall by the wayside and are mentored positively, so that they can be a force in 2028 and even before that. Thank you.
All right. Right.
You're heading to Lausanne, Switzerland next. That's the next big meet?
Yeah.
When is that coming up?
It's the 22nd of August. So yeah, I'll be running the 200 meters there in Lausanne, Switzerland, Diamond League. And I'll be running all the way up to September. God's prayer, life, health, and strength.
That's next week?
Yep.
1 week from today?
It do done until it done.
Wow.
Where do you see yourself post athletics?
Post athletics, I think that I've been in the sport so long at all levels. The local level, I've been to junior college in the States. I went to Division I college in the State, University of Alabama and South Plains College. Graduated there, was able to go to the professional route. I'm currently signed by Adidas, and having all that experience in sport, learning so much from many different coaches. I want to coach. I wanted to be able to be on the other side to see an athlete come to you with a dream and goals and help them along their journey towards those goals. I think that is what I want to do. I've learned a lot over the years, and it would be hard for me to do this all my life and then just go and do something else. So in the next few years, I plan on doing my coaching license and probably doing strength and conditioning also, so I could have those both things going for me. And I honestly want to bring it back home to Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know how it's gonna work because coaching is a free job locally, and that is not something that would be able to put food on the table for my family. But hopefully, when I'm ready, something is put in place where it's not free anymore. Hopefully, I'll be able to have a professional camp in Trinidad and Tobago where I'll be able to foster local athletes who maybe didn't have the opportunity to go to college, or athletes that didn't run so well in college that came back to Trinidad to be able to help them do well. That is actually what I would like to do. I feel like we have too much talent to just throw it on the wayside.
Opportunity to go to LA 28 to bring back that medal that you want, that we want.
No, yeah, for sure. But LA in the books right now for sure. I mean, I didn't get it this time around, but God's spare life, health, and strength. We go in LA.
You will get it. Jereem Richards, thank you for being with us this morning once again.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you for your sacrifice, and we appreciate you being here. And we're going to bother you again heading to Switzerland and bother you again heading to World Championships to keep you on people's minds, to keep the support going. Thanks so much for taking time this morning and continue.
Thank you. Much appreciated, and it was a pleasure being here.
I'm great. I can't complain at all.
Long time.
Yes, it is. It has been.
Very long time. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show. Of course, Richard, Wendell, and of course, Paul is on the program as well.
Good morning, Dr. Butcher. Long time no see. Good to see you.
Morning. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning.
How is your lovely wife?
Oh, she's great. I'm taking care of her. Everything is in order.
Then she's in good hands. Dr. Butcher, for those of you who may not know.
She's reciprocating very nicely.
Good morning. The other Dr. Butcher.
He's like a typical red man, eh?
Yeah. Dr. Butcher is a former Minister of Sport, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct?
Well, I did a number of things. I was in sport, I was in health, I was, all over the place. In Prime Minister's office at one time. Yeah.
And he's also, because I know that I took a class with him.
I started off as parliamentary secretary responsible for sport with Jennifer Johnson as the senior minister. And then, I went into cabinet after that. And, then I went to the Prime Minister's office. Yeah.
So you have a vast experience, and also you lecture in governance and in business management. So you have a vast experience in management and governance.
I lecture, and my pet subjects are strategic planning, leadership, and governance, corporate governance.
But more importantly, gentlemen, he was the member of parliament for Barataria Saint-Juan, and I can't help but notice that nominations open recently for that. Is your name anywhere there, Dr. Butcher?
No. I am like Brian Lara. I know when to, advise from behind. Some guys, they tend to hold on too long and they get abused in the ring. Yeah.
You know it.
Dr. Butcher, don't answer that. We wanted you on because, based on your experience in sport, and your family is well known in sport also from Barataria, and your expertise in strategic management, a lot of discussion has come out about TNT's performance at the Olympic and TNT's sports program generally. Let's start with what you thought of our athletes representing us in Paris and the outcomes of that.
Well, it's a long story. If we over the years, for example, way back in 1986, we had established the National Sporting Authority to be developed, and we also looked at all the research was done so that coming into government, we would hit the ground running, and we looked at developing a National Sport Authority and the funding for it. The funding, we established the National Lotteries Control Board in 1987. Within 6 months of coming into government, 6 to 9 months, the National Lotteries was established because we realized that to operate properly, you need funding. And all the funding from national lotteries was to go to sport for the development of sport. But by the time it went in cabinet and came back out, they watered it down, and you had a sports and culture fund. You had some of it going to under the purview of the prime minister then, and sport ended up back with all the money going into the consolidated fund over the years, and money now being allocated out of the consolidated fund back into sport, and we don't get the type of funding that is necessary to prepare our athletes over the period of time, doing my research on sport and management, there are 7 components or pillars. If we maximize them, we will be able to produce athletes for the elite stage on a consistent basis. When we came in and we did the work very early in government, we realized that we were not producing athletes on a consistent basis. We did not have the structure for it, and we did not have the programs. So we developed and we looked at these seven pillars. And the pillars very quickly, we identify the athletes. It comes like getting good seed to plant. You must have good coaches. You must have good administrators. You have to have the facilities. You have to have the funding. You have to have the research and development tied into the universities doing that work. And you have to have the welfare of the players. If you maximize those 7 pillars, those 7 components, you will produce athletes on a consistent basis for the form. Under that structure, what you will do is that you will select whether it's 5 or 10 disciplines that you want to go to the Olympics or the World Games, World Cup, or cricket, sailing, whatever. But you have to select now 5 to 10 sports initially. Work with those, make them get financially independent as you go along, and then wean them off and take others as you go along. It has to be done incrementally. So we set up that under Roger Boynes at the time, and we set up the sport company. Now, the sport company was the forerunner to the Sports Commission, which we brought it in as the National Sporting Authority. But with further discussions as we went along, we realized that the Sports Commission was ideal because part of the problem, which exists even today after 1987, that's over 35 years, we have not established the Sports Commission. And the Sports Commission, in discussions with senior people in sport and who know sport, would prevent the politicians from being involved in the selection and the fancy dances that we have with sport. What happens is every time a government changes, you have good programs being abolished, new programs coming, and it's a toing and froing, and therefore the structure and the development, ends up on the wrong end of the pendulum. So we have to do a number of things. We have a coming out at the Olympics, like coming out after every game, whether it's cricket, whether it's football, whether it's track and field. After every major games, we will hear a lot of constructive criticism, but nothing is done. And it must start with the government. You see, over the years, again, if you check, we have 3 streams of funding for sport. We had you have a developed countries which private enterprise is strictly the people who fund sport. You have the communist stroke socialist countries where the government is entirely in charge of sport. And then you have the developing countries like Trinidad and Tobago, where it is a mixture. But in the smaller countries, you find that, like Trinidad and Tobago, the major funding will come from the government because we don't have a culture like Jamaica, where in Jamaica you have quite a lot of corporate sponsors as well. We have to develop that culture in Trinidad and Tobago. Our corporate sponsors, for example, they don't really contribute much to sport. You see, a lot of contractors getting contracts for 400 million, 300 million, and some of them, they don't even get involved in sport or culture. And under corporate responsibility, they have a vote for that, and they will get credit.